ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
It's a crisp night at the Brisbane Cricket Ground, affectionately known as the Gabba. And the Tenants, they're feeling a little bit of heat. The Brisbane Lions, how could you be feeling pressure coming into the round second with a win-loss record of 9-3 for the season? But 2 of those 3 losses have come in the last 3 weeks. Beaten by Hawthorn down in Tasmania, came home, started slow but got away with it against the Giants, and then beaten by the Dockers in the West last week. The longest road trip in the AFL. The Brisbane-Perth trip sees the locals come home to host St Kilda off a 6-day rest, while the Saints, they're fresh. They've had 13 days to think about their top 4 prospects as they enter their second half of the season. It's been 13 days since they beat North Melbourne at Docklands, which was the 3rd win in a row for the Saints. And they're 8-3. They've got, as mentioned, a bit of extra petrol in the tank coming here at the Gabba, and a very interesting Thursday night at selection too, particularly for the Brisbane Lions. Joe Danaher returns after he injured his shoulder in the Lions' win over Sydney at the SCG. He is back, which means one of the questions of the season, certainly around Brisbane, what will happen when all 3 tall forwards are available? And you've got Oscar McInerney and Darcy Fort doing so well in the ruck. Well, the ex-Cat, who's been so good since being picked up, has been dropped. And the Lions have brought in some aggression and experience with Mitch Robinson as well. So they've gone 1 out in the ruck against, well, arguably the team that, second behind Gawn and Jackson is the best 1-2 ruck combination in the competition, in Ryder and Marshall. And then they've brought in a couple of small forwards as well, the Saints, with Jack Higgins and Dan Butler coming back into the team. And Ryan Burns, Cooper Sharman making way. It's a big game. We haven't got the regular flourish of footy through these couple of weeks during the bye rounds, but I think the eyes of the competition will certainly be cast north for more than just the reason that this is the only game on the Saturday night of round 13. My name's Quentin Hull. You're here with us at the Gabba on ABC Sport Grandstand AFL. Well, Chris Fagan might not be playing 2 ruckman, but we are tonight. Welcome to my experts, the former Fitzroy and Port Adelaide player and Port coach, Matthew Primus. Matty, always good to have you in the house. Who's taking the first bounce? Is it you or the ex-Docker and then D-Club champion, former number 1 draft pick, Jeff White? Fight amongst yourselves. Who's got the first bounce?
I got jeans on. White, he's got shorts, so he's ready to go. So he's straight up. Too cold for me.
I'm ready to go, Q.
How you doing?
Good, very good. Looking forward to this clash. I have been actually for a little while, I think. But the question I have is the bye. It's a bit different. You're lining up against a club like they played really well last week. I reckon the Lions. They've had a lot of time to think about it, the Saints. So interesting to see how it folds. You know, with their bye and whether they're going to be fresh or they're going to be out of touch. You don't know. I think.
Have the Saints got something to prove to the competition tonight, Matt?
Oh, I think every week they have been, and they've been doing it pretty well. And I do a little bit of work at Southport. We played Saints reserves this afternoon. I spoke to a couple of their assistant coaches, and then they're pretty keen how they're going to go tonight. They've picked a running team, so they're going to bring a truckload of pressure. And Brizzy are a bit taller team, as you mentioned in the opening there. So I think the way they play their footy, that's going to make life really difficult for Brisbane. And it's a bit swirly breeze out there. I reckon they're G'd up ready for this. And be interesting to see if Brisbane are sort of getting to the end of their run. And a couple of losses, I haven't watched them live, but they're looking towards to get that bye, where the Saints are coming out fresh as a daisy after their week off. So a terrific game ahead, I reckon.
We'd love to hear from you this evening. The number to get in touch on the SMS is 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Please include your name and where you're texting from. I'll be calling the action alongside Michael Price. As ever, great to be in your company, Pricey, for a crisp night at the Gabba. But I don't think we can complain in this part of the world compared to the temperatures we're seeing down the southern part of the eastern seaboard.
So when you're saying crisp, and good evening to you, and you're saying about 15 degrees here in Brisbane, Q. So that is crisp for us living here, but I think the conditions are right for St Kilda. Usually you're coming to Brisbane, you've got this little bit of a fortress atmosphere, it's a little bit humid in the evening. 15 odd degrees and slipping rapidly towards the first bounce. I like the way Saints have gone about it. I like the way they've selected, as the big boys have said. They've selected for running, and I think the Lions are a little vulnerable just heading into the bye with a couple of soft spots we can talk about.
Well, thinking of the conditions, let's get a first-hand account and get down to Jess Stewart, who is down on the boundary. Where was it 3 layers, Jess? As the Lions run out onto the field. How are you doing down there?
It's actually 4 layers, but I'm a Brisbane girl, and we don't cope with cold weather in Brisbane. We just, as soon as we get a bit of chill down here, we just rug up. So, look, the Bomb is saying it's about currently 14 degrees. It's looking like going to drop about 9 degrees by later stages of the match, but Bomb does say it currently feels like 10, so that's why we're feeling a bit cold down here at ground level. A little bit of a swirly breeze, as you mentioned before. In terms of crowd size, well, I did hear from the Lions yesterday they're looking 25,000 and above, so I guess it'll just depend how many Brisbaneites are keen to brave the cold weather tonight, but looking forward to this great clash here on a Saturday night in Brisbane.
And it's interesting with the crowd tonight. It'll be a real litmus test of just how the cut-through is going for the Lions in the city, because it's been the biggest race day of the year today. The Stradbroke handicap, won brilliantly by Alligator Blood, their headline grabbing. It was a flying finish, so that was good news. Big day for a lot there at Eagle Farm. And the Brisbane Broncos are playing at the same time as well across town.
Yeah, Suncorp, went past there.
Yeah.
Head up very well.
So it's always one of the things that we speak about in this city, which is used to having a bit of clean air for all of its different sporting loves.
Yep. But St Kilda actually do drag in a fair crowd as well. They've got an excellent supporters group in Brisbane, and so they do drag in some fans. So I'm looking forward to the atmosphere here, boys. And I don't know. I think it's the flip of the coin, literally, how we're going to go. I don't want to get straight into the tips. There's plenty to discuss, but I'm just excited as to how potentially we've got a really close game on our hands.
Yeah, the thing I'm really looking forward to is that, and I've said this early in the EQ and I've said it a few times, is that Brisbane's, their improvement from last year is their kicking ability. Their ability to hit up that 45-degree angle into the corridor. The way the Saints have improved is their defensive pressure. They're able to squeeze you. They're able to get on the defensive side really, really quick. So I'm looking forward to that battle. How much courage are they going to have, Brisbane, to get that kick inside the middle? So
let's explain it to those that aren't aware, because we've got two great minds when it comes to the work of ruckman. We've seen Darcy Fort play every game for Brisbane this season, but now he makes way because Joe Danaher comes back. So, Matt and Jeff, not just about how that will change the way Brisbane's playing, also tell us why the Saints have been so good with the Ryder-Marshall combination.
Well, I think they're pretty different players, aren't they, Whitey? I think Ryder, Marshall's probably does a little bit more around the ground, and Paddy does a little bit of that, but he's dominant. Sometimes he doesn't have to do much around the ground because he puts it on a platter for his midfielders, and away it goes from the stoppages, and he doesn't have to do anything about it. So I think it's two different combination of ruckman, and the way Paddy can sort of set up his midfielders and give them first look at it is terrific. And both teams score first and second most from turnovers in their front half, so they rely on their centre bounce and their stoppage work to get the ball in their area, and that's why Big O is going to have a huge job against two big boys who, if you let up, you're a little bit soft on the body, you don't compete too hard, he'll tap it down their Saints' throats and away they go. So not only will be that ruck battle, but to also see what Brizzy do, because they got torn up a little bit against Freo last week, scoring from stoppages, which isn't the way they normally generate their scores, and it'll be interesting to see how they go to stop Ryder's dominance and Ross and Jones and those kind of guys and crouch through the middle.
Well, I was just going to say to Q that I think bringing Danaher in would be, he can pitch, be in the ruck. As I'm seeing the warm-up now, McStay's in there. So there's obviously the structure is to have Hipwood and Danaher stay in the forward line, McStay to pinch in and help out McInerney. So
would they be a little bit, I suppose, reticent to throw Danaher in the ruck coming back from the shoulder and just to protect him a bit as well?
Too. Yeah, a bit of that too. And McStay, I think, is probably a bit more crash bash than Danaher, and that might go better against Marshall, and he's probably got a bit of that body to handle that a little bit more.
That's probably where you have the matchup. You got Marshall's a big body, probably not looking at the centre bounce. The mindset of the Brisbane Lions, when McStay's in there, he's going against Marshall. Hey, let's go one-on-one. Let's try and set up pretty much a zone, and let's be defensive mindset. But around the ground, when you got the stoppages, McStay's such a big-bodied person. He's going to match it with Marshall.
Yeah.
Whereas McInerney's going to be really careful with Ryder. Ryder is, like, as we know, jumps really good, very good with his hands. So McInerney's got to try and jump and get that, jump into him and try and negate his hitting ability in the centre bounce.
He's one of the few ruckmen in the league above 52% of hit-outs won. Not necessarily to advantage, but he's winning more than half of what he jumps up for, Paddy Ryder.
But I'll asterisk that with, we may still see two specialist ruckmen for Brisbane tonight, because would you believe Darcy Fort is the medi-sub?
Yeah, it's
for Brisbane, and for St Kilda, it is the export player in Jared Leanett.
I can't remember who did it. One team, when they first brought this rule in, one team did it, a Melbourne team, and it went pear-shaped for them. They brought it on, it just didn't help them at all, and then everyone realised you don't use a ruck for that. So really interesting, because you would think run is what's going to help Brisbane, or maybe be their Achilles heel as the game goes on. So if they get an injury and you've got to bring Darcy Ford in, then you've got your three tools, Hipwood, McStay, Danaher. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but obviously they have their theory, or maybe they're worried about if those two rucks for Saints get on top.
But it is an interesting tactic, because you are going against a side that's a lot smaller, that run, that the defensive pressure. But they can put in Hipwood. If McInerney goes down, they put Hipwood in.
Yep.
You know, they've got enough tools there to fill the void there.
Well, the thing is that one thing Brisbane doesn't have is the tall-ish midfield. I mean, there aren't many Patrick Cripps around, but we've seen Carlton use Cripps and even Jack Silvani in that role, and other clubs have been able to, because there are taller midfielders. Brisbane is relatively short.
Yes.
Well, Robertson's the tallest. We're watching him now warm up as a midfielder, and you've got McCluggage, you've got Neil, you've got Berry, you've got Zorko, and there you go. There's Mitch Robinson's the tallest one there.
A couple of messages coming in early, which is fantastic. Hello to Haley, who sent a message from Echuca. Gents, the fire is roaring in the shed. A couple of cold fizzy drinks on hand. ABC Radio loud and clear. Life is okay. Good on you, Haley. Thank you for your message. 0437 774 774. Hi, team. Looking forward to the call. A proud Vic. Afraid I'm going for the Lions. Would love them to be in a grand final this year. I really like Fagan as a coach. Unfortunately, I don't think the Pies will get there this year. Good on you, Fran from Melbourne. Thank you. 0437 774 774. If you have just tuned in, by the way, really good game over in the West, and the Dockers got the Hawks by 13 points, 14-11-95 to Hawthorn's 12-10-82. Jeff's pointing at the screen. He loves seeing the messages from overseas.
Oh, I do.
Jim from Limerick in Ireland. Go the Hawks, but I pray the Dockers win the flag. Well,
I love that. I love that.
That's a very Irish kind of message, isn't it? Because the Dockers probably got closer to trying to win the flag today, yet the Hawks had a crack. Beaten.
Yep. There was a young club from Fremantle.
And
you continue.
It's definitely not a hoax, because we get the number.
You get the number,
from where it's texted, and it's an Irish number. So I must admit, I've been speaking to a few people around Brisbane, and a good chance to bring this into our national audience, because they look at 9-3. The Lions have won, outside of the finals, they've won 31 of their last 32 on this deck. Round one against Sydney last year is the only home and away season game they've dropped in that run. Of course, the finals have been a different story, and that's permeated. The Brisbane fans are starting to worry about, if it's not Lachie Neale, then who is it going to be in the engine room? They know it's Andrews and Danaher and Gardner down the back. It's Danaher and Cameron and Hipwood up forward, and it's Neale. Then have they got the engine room to turn what is a very good win-loss record and is going to get them to the finals? But Brisbane fans, I think, they're already thinking, well, we're not too worried about now, in a sense. It's about whether we've got better in the last 3 years from the September failures. And to this point of the season, what have you seen?
Well, I've seen different players go through the middle. So I know Neale and Lyons, to a little bit less extent, have had pretty good years, but they've thrown different guys in there that give them a different look, a bit more speed, a bit more leg speed through the middle of the ground. They can carry the ball, different plays for those two. Cameron's played a bit of a different role at times, so I've seen him eke out a few different things. I think the competition is that bloody even. 4 weeks ago, Freo lost.
So Gold Coast.
And it was like, hang on, they're pretenders. Then they come out and whack the Premiers and put the Premiers in a bit of a slide. Now Freo, after they lose to Gold Coast, no chance to win the flag. Now they're a chance to win a very good chance to win the flag. And
but Gold Coast was no chance of making the 8 when they beat them. And now look at them.
So
Suns are a chance of playing finals.
Tough competition, and tonight's one is certainly going to show that.
And one of the ones they have been putting in the midfield, which I reckon they're going to try and get in as much as they get, Rayner.
Well, that's
big body.
Yep.
Like he's, you're talking about the tall mids. He's just a big bulk of a kid, and once he gets his engine up, he's going to be a valuable asset in that midfield for him.
G'day to Todd from Launceston. Top temperature here today was 12. It's getting very cold. Yeah, coolish and Lonnie. Hi from Castlemaine. I'm doing the dishes with the kids and listening to the call. Go Saints from Joe, Mick and James. Thank you. And we're getting close to the bounce, but Henry from Melbourne obviously knows you. He wants to ask you about the LIV golf tour and the Saudi money.
Let's be careful. Have you got a half an hour?
Yeah, I know.
It's one of the big talking points of sport at the moment, isn't it? We'll leave that there. 0437 774 774. You never know, Henry. This might be a blowout, and we might be able to talk about that post-game. Who's going to win and why? Matt Primus and Jeff White.
Brizzy, a couple of goals because they need to.
Yeah, I'm going for Brizzy, but in a close one, I reckon the Saints are going to give it to him.
Fantastic to see the two very recognisable playing strips out there as well. St Kilda in its traditional red, white and black stripes with the black back white, numbers white shorts for the away team. Brisbane in its home maroon, blue and gold. And the Lions are going to be attacking the right of your radio dial, the Saints to the left of your radio dial in the opening term. Let's play Saturday night footy at the Gabba on ABC Sport. Here's Michael Price.
Umpire Matt Stevick. Nice bounce to start proceedings at the Gabba. McInerney over Ryder, into the hands of Gresham for St Kilda though, hooks it around the body, nice work from Berry, tracked back into the pack and took a nice mark. He's on the back of the centre square, just holds things up, looking for something to happen, tries to chisel a pass 30 metres straight through the corridor, hits Hipwood, handball to the run of Daniel Rich, it's a bit of an 8-iron to the forward pocket to borrow that golf parlance, and Josh Battle takes a defensive mark.
Kicks it to the right half-back flank, and he's got Ross available, uncontested. Takes a moment, Seb Ross, before driving a left foot drop punt down the wing to a pack. Comes off the hands of King. Front of the pack for Brisbane, McCluggage does the roving. Runs into trouble, got tackled holding the ball. Gresham stole it, advantage taken by the Saints. Hands it to King, gives it back to Gresham. On the wing, left foot kick to attacking 50. Membry back with the flight. Gardner nudged him off it. Ball to ground level, play on. Membry picks up, hand pass looking for King, who's tackled immediately. And now the ball is locked at the bottom of those willing men. And we'll see a ball up at right half forward for the Saints. No score after the opening 70 seconds. Cool and clear nights at the Gabba.
Ball up on the point of the centre square, left half back for the Lions. McLuggage, tackled by Ryder, ball spills out, Berry picks it up, hooks it around the body to the logo, nice chest mark, taken by Bailey in front of his opponent. He wheels around onto the right, kicks it inside 50, open spaces, 2 against 1 for Charlie Cameron, gathered by... Well, I think it was Webster, tackled by Charlie Cameron into the ground, ball spills over the top. He was obscured as Charlie Cameron tackled in the ball. Takes over into the forward pocket. It'll be a throw in, but nice pressure there from the Lions, Matty Price.
Nice pressure, and that's 2 inside 50s where they've just rolled and gone super quick. So I don't know whether that's something they've practiced this week, but they've definitely gone really quick inside 50.
No score lines in attack. Ryder and McStay well picked up, boys. McStay's doing that chop out ruck work at the moment. It's over the boundary line with no clearance.
And then they bring McInerney to set up the wall at centre forward there.
Quentin Hull, Michael Price, Jeff White, Matt Primus and Jess Stewart, your company on this Saturday night at the Gabba. Brisbane in attack, another throw in. Goes beyond the ruckman, bounces favourably for Ryder, and then he was held as well, so we'll get a free kick. The veteran Paddy Ryder, one of a large group of players playing tonight that have won best and fairests at other clubs. He chips it short to Jones, marks at right half back. Gets the hand pass to Battle, runs the half back flank and then kicks to the wing, and Marshall, too good in a one-on-one, takes the mark, plays on quickly with a hand pass to Membry. He gives it off to Wood. Wood's kick to half forward is poor, an intercept mark taken by Andrews of Brisbane.
Harris Andrews now, handball to McLuggage, over to Kadeen Coleman, straight up the middle, dangerous kick. But it was a good mark taken by Zach Bailey. Sinclair standing the mark, wearing the long sleeves tonight, a chilly one in Brisbane. Brisbane go laterally. Neil now at left half back again. Chisels a pass to Kadeem Coleman. Content to hold on to the ball. Lovely left foot kick from Coleman. Went to the advantage of Berry. It was well done there by Patton, who took a ball close to the boundary line. Gathered, got the handball away. Saints get themselves into trouble now. Mason Wood's handball didn't hit the target. Lock Neal enters. He was taken off the ball. Umpire didn't call a thing. Ball spills towards Saints player who just hacked it forward out of the pack, and Kadeem Coleman cut it off with a chest mark.
And the infield kick is missed. It was low for Robinson. He couldn't pick it up. Butler steals, runs to 60. Open goal mouth for Dan Butler. It takes an amazing bounce across the goal line. Didn't go through for a score, and Andrews picks it up. That was bedazzling. Anyway, he's kicked it to right half back. McCluggage has it, hands it back to Rich, and he calmly slots to the corridor for Gardner.
I've never seen a ball do a U-turn.
That was unbelievable. It pitched near the point post and almost went through the major opening, and it was a no score in the end. Centre half back for Brisbane, no score through 4 minutes.
Starcevic straight up the middle with a 15-metre kick to Neil. Neil straight onto his right foot, looking towards the commentary wing. 2-on-1. It was well read by the St Kilda defence. They cut McCluggage out of the game. It's on to Webster. Webster takes a bounce, has a go with his left foot. It's King versus Andrews. There's been a free kick called.
Andrews holding on.
Bit of a tangle. King will win the free kick. I've been looking forward to this battle all night. Max King in his 50th game with St Kilda against a person who's been colloquially known as Harris Laconic Jr. over the last several weeks.
I think Andrews he didn't need to do that. It's a silly free kick. Like, he had front position, so you know, he can force him to the boundary line, but
32 goals, 22 for the year. 50th game for the Saints, as I said. He's averaging 2.9 goals a game and clunking a good 3 contested marks a game, so in good form. On a tight angle, Max King. Oh, look at that for a kick. What a great way to open for the Saints. One straight goal. The Lions are yet to score. And we played 5 minutes 20 of the first term on Grandstand AFL Matty Primus.
Oh, you nailed it there, Whitey. Harris had great position. Normally you don't see him wrestle. No. His opponent do. He reads the ball, gets good position, and then just jumps, either marks it or spoils it. But he was super body conscious of King then and got caught wrestling, and it was a simple free kick against.
Bit of panic at the disco there from the fullback.
Definitely panic from a guy that's perceived to be out of form, isn't he?
Generally known as someone
cool and calm.
who's been so good in that scenario.
Yeah, and the setup, as we spoke about, is Brisbane are trying to get those little kicks inside forward. You can see St Kilda, you go wide. You can go wide, and we'll crowd you in the middle. And that's what they were able to cause that turnover on the wing, because then they're able to, Brisbane are trying to switch, get the turnover, and away they go. Jeff
White and Matt Primus, your analysts on this Saturday night on Grandstand AFL. First blood to the Saints. Centre bounce. McInerney gets the tap for Brisbane, but McCluggage has to play tackler on Jones, who pick it up for the Saints. No extraction. So now tossed in the air, still in the bullseye. McInerney again taps down, but Jones closest to it. Lost a handle. Kraft picks it up for the Saints, though. Got tackled by Big Oscar. Ball spilled free. McCluggage picks up for Brisbane. Hand pass to Rayner. Runs to attacking 50. Grubbering entry along the deck. It's in front of Bailey. Wilkie's over him. Umpire's watching, waiting, and hugging his chest. And it will be a ball up 40 metres from the Lions goal. Very quickly tossed in the air by the umpire. McStay does the roving hand pass to McCluggage. Got tackled. A hand pass turned over. Battle puts it to his toe to get the Saints out of danger.
Well, he tries to. Daniel Rich cuts it off for Brisbane towards the boundary line. He was tackled off the ball there by Butler. Ball spills over right in front of the Grandstand commentary box for a throw in. Nice night in Brisbane. It's clear, but it's crisp. It's about 14 odd degrees. Saints would be enjoying these conditions, but the footy is hot. The throw in. McInerney, a shallow throw in. McInerney gets there first, slaps it forward to Zach Jones. His kick smothered. Under pressure from Mitch Robinson, who appeals for a kick in the gob. There's nothing much the umpire can do with that. It was just one of those things. The ball spills over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in.
Perhaps it's just my bent. Not huge, pugilistic man, but forget Cambosis and Haney. I want to see Jones and Robinson play on each other for a while tonight. Indeed. That'd be really good fun. Saints a goal, lines yet to score. Boundary throw in, Neil. The clearance for Brisbane, but the hand pass stolen by Hill of the Saints. Hands it to Jones. Hand pass to half forward, picked up by Membry. He gives it on there. Trouble for Butler, but he rode a tackle. Got a hand pass to Crouch. Mung left foot kick inside 50 was along the deck. Was hoping for Higgins, who had to play tackler and does well to lock it up for the Saints.
Geez, they're playing on a lot, aren't they? Quickly.
Yeah, they play fast, and both their inside midfielders got well ahead of Brisbane's midfielders there, so something to keep an eye on that hurt Brizzy last week against Freo.
And their forward flanks coming up high, aren't they?
Yep.
Boundary side tap, went to Gresham, rush kick to full forward, and Starcevic is there though, wet it well for Brisbane and takes the relieving mark. Saints a goal, lines yet to score, 8.5 played.
Daniel Rich plays on to Neil through the hands of Gardner, and then Answorth takes him on. Takes the tackler on, gets the handball off to Rayner. It's a long bomb inside 50 and it lands on the chest of Joe Danaher, who circled the pack, ran around the back, took it on his chest, 30 out, but it's a reasonable angle to the left, about 45 degrees.
Just seems to me, Matty, that they've just got so much room going forward, Lions. So the half forwards are coming up to help out through the midfield, which is creating a little bit of noise, but at least they're getting that drive and those second efforts going back.
Big Joe Danaher, 6 weeks out, 19 goals, 8 for the year. Let's see how it's going with his goal kicking as he approaches. Leans back on it and pulls it violently to the right. It is one behind and barely so. One straight to the Saints, one straight goal to the Saints to one behind to the Lions after 9.5 of the first term.
And the Saints quickly through chip mark get it to Marshall, just inside defensive 50 at left half back. If you just tuned in, the Dockers got the better of the Hawks by 13 points and a good one over in the West. As Marshall from half back kicks towards the wing. Fly from Adams, 2 grabs, no, not enough control. Then jumped on aggressively by Marshall and wrapped up. And the umpire says holding the ball. In fact, that was Crouch who's going to win the free kick. Among that, St Kilda clamp applied on Marcus Adams when he didn't get paid the mark. Crouch from the wing, kicks the left half forward, King in a pack of 2 against him. Tapped cleverly by Gresham to King, got the hand pass to Owens, hand pass to the pocket, goes back to Higgins, his hand pass near the boundary ends up with Gresham, he's corralled, chips to the corridor and Ross found a path, couldn't mark, roves his own crumb, hand pass to Butler, he's hooked to the top of the goal square, King, mark or arm chop, it's the ladder, free kick, St Kilda. And I don't know about you gentlemen, but we've spent a lot of time in this house and I've heard the talk on the street and it's incredible, it's strange. Brisbane is 9-3 and there is a genuine nervousness about not only tonight, but about the last couple of weeks. And early on here, Max King's lining up for a second goal.
Well, their speed of play and their handball change is what's bringing Brisbane undone. It's puts themselves under a bit of pressure, but certainly given them good looks and goal.
Point blank for Max King, 25 metres out. His second of the night is the Saints' second of the night. And they laid it 2 straight to 1 point. And we played 11 minutes of the first term at the Gabba Grandstand AFL.
Just shows his work rate, didn't it? Like he had that contest with Andrews at a half forward. They were big collision, brought it to ground. He's the one that's working back. Great kick to the hot spot. A lot of hands, like as you just said then, the ability to get their hands quick but also knock it on, knock it back, you know, and have enough numbers at the contest.
Well, that style of play put you under the pump. It's 1-for-1 kick to handball the Saints are playing. So they're smacking them in the contest, and then that handball chain is making Brisbane's backs and their midfielders really nervous and gives them, as I said, really good look. So Brisbane going to have to tighten up around the stoppages and their contested ball here.
So that's up to 34 goals this year now for Max King, and he's already reeling in that best of last season where he kicked 38.
Yeah, he's having a great year, isn't he?
Only 4 inside 50s each. Brisbane have utilised it once and Kilda 3 times for 2 straight goals to 1 behind. Back into the middle, it's towed out of there by Gresham towards the commentary wing. Now, Berry ignored ball, went for body. It was picked up by Mason Wood, who was the beneficiary. Got his boot to ball. Gresham did well, but let loose the pill. Neil picked it up. He was grabbed high. And it'll be a free kick to Lockie Neal at right half-back. It was Butler who took him high. So the 2020 Brownlow medalist will have a look to kick down the line. The Saints have set up very well in front of him.
Averaging 32 disposals in this year. Lockie Neal kicks all the way back to fullback for Andrews. Markson completes the switch to left half back or thereabouts for Hipwood, presenting a long way up the ground. We see the return of the Dannerwood combination tonight. Eric and Joe down forward for the Lions. Hipwood's kick is almost out of bounds on the full. Adams dives and tumbles and marks right on the boundary line at left half back. His kick is not good. Starcevic is able to control, though, on the bounce. Hand pass is turned over. Long steals it on the wing for the Saints. Hands it off to Ross. His hand pass to Windhager. High kick to half forward. Gardner, the third man in the Adams v Marshall contest. And Dizzy knocks it out of play for a boundary throw-in.
As Whitey mentioned, their defence is super.
They're just setting up that corridor.
Yep.
They're just going, hey, Brisbane, you know what? You can't have that 45. You can't have that short. Kick it long.
Nothing.
And that's exactly what happened then.
That's our twin towers, Jeff White and Matty Primus here. Special comments, Michael Price and Quentin Hull calling the action for you. Grandstand AFL. The throw in was taken by young Owens. He was slung off the ball. It's loose in the back line. Ainsworth hooks it onto his right foot towards the wing. Picked up and hacked back out of there by the Saints inside 50, but Darcy Gardner's there for Brisbane. Read it well. It was a slewed kick out of a very congested area. Every player on the field is forward of the centre circles, and Darcy Gardner will just chip it forward dangerously, albeit.
Bailey marks, though, hands it to his skipper. Zorko's kick is good, hits the presenting chest of 150 gamer McStay. Plays on and runs around Ryder on the mark, and then a terrible kick along the wing. Went along the deck, picked up by McCluggage. Hands it to Danaher, hands it backwards to Lyons. Shimmies infield, then kicks down the line. Flying spoil affected by Howard, but roving is McCluggage of Brisbane. Breaks a tackle, runs to 55. Kick to an open goal mouth. Woods there for the Saints. He's got two against him. Berry picks it up for Brisbane and kicks a goal. No, misses near side. He had a left foot snap from right in front of the goal mouth, and he's tugged it for a point. 2 goals to 2 points. The Saints lead at 15 minutes played. 10
points, the Saints margin. It's going to be a long kick in the direction of the commentary wing. Adams with the big fly for Brisbane. Fisted it over Mason Wood's head. Back inside to Adams. Kick inside 50. Danaher made his way to the front. It's a chop of the arms, the umpire has said.
Free kick.
Same as Max King at the other end.
He was pointing in both directions there. I was just wondering
he was waiting to
going
see
on.
if Hugh McCluggage was going to take advantage.
With somebody hanging onto him. Wasn't going to happen, so Joe Danaher will accept the free kick. 45-degree angle to the right. He'll have to let go from 45. Good start from the big fella after a few weeks back.
Good test of the shoulder too there, Pricey.
Very much so. Receiving very close attention from Wilkie. Here comes Joe Danaher. The left foot is slaying out to the left. One behind, so the Lions with their chances not taken. 3 behinds, 9 points behind the Saints. 2 straight goals when we played 16 minutes of the first quarter.
Wilkie is able to run out of the goal mouth for the Saints, and the inbound is a long left foot drop, punt to right half back. King presents. McInerney makes the spoil. Ball back towards the boundary line on the half back flank for the Saints, and seen out under the rumble there of Lyons and Butler, and both of them get up just trying to push each other in the chest. Boundary up, gets into his action, throws it in on attacking 50 for Brisbane. McInerney got Ryder out of the way, made the tap straight to Bailey, who's wrapped up immediately by Jones. And another neutral. Toss quickly in the air, 50 from Brisbane's goal. Ryder, clean possession for the Saints. Rush kick towards the wing. Clean bowled Coleman of Brisbane, crashing in Membry of St Kilda. Had it, lost it under the attempt to barnstorm his way through there. Under the pack, it's gone towards the boundary line and out of play. Yep, for a throw in. Geez, love when you see both teams really trying to win the physical battle early.
In and under, aren't they?
Yep.
Thrown in on the outer wing. Ryder and McInerney over the back, slapped it forward. It went into the path of Kadeem Coleman. He overran it. Zach Jones over the top of the ball. Tackled by Coleman in turn. Stuck underneath him. Umpire says no. Will be balled up on the logo. Outer wing. Saints lead by 9 points. 17 gone on Grandstand AFL. Umpire throws it up. Matt Stevick. Fisted forward by McInerney. Into the hands of Cameron. He couldn't quite take it. Young Matt Owens for St Kilda. Hits the ball at 100 miles per hour, but he was also hit at that same velocity by Cam Rayner. Great tackle. Rayner receives the free kick. It's a long one inside 50. Danaher flies at the back of the pack. McCarthy gathers, has time to handball it back inboard. McLuggage, he's taken off it, kicked inboard by Bailey, and it's going to be Hipwood. Can't take it. Well done there by Higgins, who extracts it for St Kilda.
Kicks it to right half back and close to the boundary line when met by Starcevic of Brisbane, and he runs it out of play. So another boundary throw-in will be affected. 18 minutes played in the first term. St Kilda 2 straight. Max King has both of them. The Lions 3 behinds on a clear and crisp night on Grandstand AFL through ABC Sport. Ryder wins the ruck battle for the Saints. Quick kick to the wings effective. Membry got to the front, takes a mark. Hand passes to the fellow Tattoo Jones, who runs the wing for the Saints. Hands it infield on the 45 to Ross. Runs to half forward, chip into attack, poor. He was looking for King, missed him badly. And Rich takes an easy mark for Brisbane, just forward of full back.
Money for jam for Daniel Rich. It was if he picked him out. Beautiful 40-metre pass to the lead of Eric Hipwood from Daniel Rich. Then Hipwood on his left acknowledges the lead of Kadeem Coleman. He goes forward to half forward to find McInerney. The handball to McLuggage. It's chipped inside to Dev Robinson. Back to McLuggage. Now Lyons. He can't quite take it. Off hands. It's gathered. And Charlie Cameron's tackled into the deck by a couple of Saints. He's buried, in fact.
Oh, sorry to press you, but that's the connection, and that's a forward running and 45-degree angle running. The Brisbane, with their foot skills, can cut up the defence of the Saints.
Lions in attack, right of the tap for the Saints though, but no clearance underneath it. Mitch Robinson plays tackle on McKenzie, so the ump throws it up in the air quickly again. Chance for Crouch. His clearing kick went straight to Danaher. Slapped it on his boot and Joe kicks a goal. And there's a bit going on after that. Lyons has been shrugged as in Jared of Brisbane to the ground. He gets up and he's in Zach Jones's face. Ben Long's in there, of course. Where's Mitch Robinson? Yeah, he's not far away. There's two little groups of it. And we're talking about the physical battle. These guys are up for it tonight. Better give the score. That's a goal to Danaher, and 3 points the difference. St Kilda 2 straight. Brisbane 1-3. Jess Stewart's on the boundary. Ringside.
Yeah, Q. St Kilda player in that frustration just came straight to one of the Lions players after that and gave him a fair shove. Obviously, it was Charlie Cameron because he does have the free kick. But, yeah, just the tension spoiling over there, of course. There's a lot of physicality in this game. Stakes are high.
So I didn't even see that the umpire had paid an extra free kick here. The goal from Danaher counts, and Cameron's going to get a second opportunity to shoot at goal.
Just saw it on the screen. Brad Crouch has just grabbed him high and thrown him to the ground after the fact.
But he was pushed into him.
Wow.
So Crouch was pushed into Cameron.
So
use Charlie
by Lions.
Cameron gets a chance to make it 2 goals in a millisecond for Brisbane, and he kicks the goal from 40 metres out. And that puts Brisbane in front. A torrid first term here at the Gabba. The Danaher snap, then the infringement and the fracas afterwards, and Cameron kicks the set shot to make it Brisbane 2-3-15 to St Kilda's 2 straight 12. And the bad news is that 1 week escape of this song, I thought it was going to be for the rest of the season.
What happened to the Warrumpy band?
Well, it must have been a Doug Nichols round thing.
Turn it up.
Back to...
Didn't mind a bit of My Island Home, just quietly.
John Denver. By the way, if you're not aware, this song plays every time Charlie Cameron kicks a goal.
I love it.
We don't really like it here. And he changed it for Indigenous rounds.
The crowd
But it's been changed back, obviously. 2-3 to 2 straight. Brisbane in front.
Crowd is buzzing like all of the heaters around Brisbane in this 13 degrees we've got here. Clearance by Jared Lyons. Inside 50. Picked up and hurled forward by St Kilda. Intercepted by Charlie Cameron. Wrong thing. And then he, from 2 metres, put it on the outside of his boot and kicked a point. 2-4-16 to 2 straight 12. 4 points the difference. Lions lead, 23 gone first quarter.
That would have brought the house down. That midfield challenge at the moment, that's what's I'm really intrigued in watching at the moment.
Sinclair long from the kick in towards the wing. Marshall in front, couldn't mark. Neil roves for Brisbane. Hand pass out the back to Answorth, and he's happy to concede ground with a chip. Marked by Rich, and he'll set things up. Just defensive side of the southern wing for Brisbane. Chip infield on the 45 to captain Zorko. Marks uncontested. Rolls on to the centre of the ground. Zorko with a deep entry to attacking 50. Numbers are plenty for the Saints. Sinclair takes the mark. Chips it to Wilkie, who marks in the pocket. Wilkie is going to chip it to Webster. So he takes the grab just forward of the left back pocket. First 2 goals to the Saints, the next 2 to Brisbane. Against the Lions 2-4 to the Saints. 2 straight 23 minutes played first term.
The last couple of minutes have really brought the Brisbane crowd to light. Long kick. Adams flies above the pack. Big fist towards the boundary line, gathered by Mason Wood. Tumbles a handball back in board. It was cut off by Cam Rayner. Did a little dancing move and kicked it to the top of the square. Hipwood dropped what he might have taken. It was beautifully roved by Sinclair for the Saints. His handball cut off though. Big chance for Brisbane. Mitch Robinson. And then a handball forward by McCarthy. The one-on-one wasn't in favour of Charlie Cameron. The Saints have it. Big kick. Cameron put the pressure on. The exiting kick from Mason Wood. It's out of bounds on the full. It's going to be a free kick to Marcus Adams. Just forward of the centre wing, commentary box side. That's the Vulture Street side of the ground. Adams plays on, touched off the boot at 50. Zach Jones, handball to Crouch. They're out the Saints. It's a kick towards the wing. Paddy Ryder rises above the pack and takes the mark.
And no one really in front of him. Has to chip to the flank. Membry runs hard to mark. 70 from goal, and now the wave of players running to the school end. And occupying their positions inside the Saints attacking 50. Membry takes his time. And now just decides to drive it deep to a contest in the pocket. King! Big piece of it, just couldn't complete the mark. Kadeen Coleman makes a strong tackle there. I think it was on Windhager. And no, it was Owens.
It's hard to tell with the modern tackler because it's like a limpet all over them.
Wrapped up. Ball up in the left forward pocket for the Saints. Marshall the tap, but sharked by Neil of Brisbane. Exiting kick, juggled and marked by Devon Robinson of Brisbane at right half back. Lions 2-4, Saints 2 straight.
Had a good couple of weeks. The former under-18 WA captain. Surprise packet taken in the draft around 22 for Brisbane after he was left overnight, wondering after the first round. He gives it back to Coleman. Now chips it to the commentary wing and Neil. His 9th disposal coming up for Lock Neil. He's just going to go backwards and hold it up. Kadeen Coleman has the ball again with about just less than 3 minutes to play. The Lions really want to keep possession of the ball.
They're trying to go inside, but the Saints are on their toes. They're trying to force them to go wide.
As Adams has it under a little bit of pressure there. It's turned over in the middle of the field, although that was a mighty tackle by Dev Robertson as the Saints were about to break away. He's got it in the middle of the field and chips it to Neil. Oh, it's been read nicely by Hill, who cuts it off his hands. Mason Wood, left foot pass is ill-directed. Darcy Gardner gathers well for Brisbane.
And hands it to possession 11 for Lockie Neal. A kick to the centre of the ground, marked by McStay. Plays on quickly. Kick is wide for Mitch Robinson. The returning hard man marks. Plays on left foot kick. Too hot for the leading fingers of McCarthy. At the back though, Cameron's got it for Brisbane. His kick infield is along the ground. Picked up by Jared Berry. Had it, dropped it. Ump said, fair enough, play on. Rayner picks up, swivels and snaps on his right. Won't have the penetration to get to the goal line. Pitches in front of a contest in the pocket and rolls out of play for a throw-in.
They've stiffened up their contested possession, though, and nearly double the Saints, but now they're only down by 9, so Brisbane has certainly come, especially after that little melee that got the Cameron goal. They've certainly lifted their intensity around the ball.
Matt Primus on ABC Sport. Lions by 4 points late in the first term.
Brisbane 14 inside 50s to St Kilda's 8. Here's the throw-in in the forward pocket for Brisbane at the base of the pack. Crouch for the Saints. Gets it now back to Webster, who just mungs one forward outside defensive 50. It's propelled forward by Zorko. Then he gets the handball away. In traffic, Rayner puts himself through. Gets away from 1, 2. Handball to Cameron, but he sold him a bit of a dump. Cameron loses it. Picked up by Higgins. For St Kilda. Hacks it towards commentary wing, but Marcus Adams is all there and reads it well for the Lions.
And that's a better kick. Marked by Zorko. 70 out. Quick injection to full forward. Through the hands of Cameron at the back of the pack. Howard Roves for St Kilda. Hands it to Sinclair. Chips it to Ross. Not the required 15. Called to play on. So he weaves in field. Hand passes across the D50 for Crouch. Crouch's kick semi-smothered. Bounces in the middle of the ground. Hills there, couldn't pick up, but Crouch cleans up his own work. Hand passes there to Windhager, gave it on to Patton it was, gave it on to Jones. Jones has kicked to the wing, marked by King. Long way out. Marshall's deep. His kick is over the 2-on-2. Roving though, Higgins, can he keep it in? Yes, he can. Now the dribbler into the near post from Jack Higgins. Brilliant piece of small forwards work, but it just couldn't evade the major woodwork. The Saints' first point, Brisbane 2-4 to 2-1.
That's that transitional running. Higgins was up on the wing trying to get involved in that play, and there he was in the forward pocket, shot on goal. So their work rate up the field and back is really, really good at the moment from the Saints.
So late in the first quarter, the Brisbane Lions will be very content to hold on to the ball, and a 3-point lead going into quarter time. Daniel Rich, a long kick towards halfback. Good contest in this first quarter at the Gabba. The Brisbane Lions 2-4-16 lead St Kilda 2-1-13. Your goal kickers, Max King, 2 for St Kilda, Danaher and Cameron with 1 apiece for the Brisbane Lions.
And those 2 goals to Brisbane, well, coming
within 20 seconds.
Well, I'm not quite sure. Do they? I think they would start the clock again, obviously, when Cameron's at the top of his run-up, because Danaher had kicked the goal and then Cameron got dumped afterwards. So maybe there was a little 20-second gap there. It's not this little black hole in the time, is it?
Who knows the way it's...
Well, just checking that type of thing out. Anyway, they came back to back, that's for sure. And it's Brisbane leading by 3 points at quarter time. Earlier in the West, the Dockers, too good for the Hawks in a really good contest. Fremantle winning 14 goals, 11-95 to Hawthorns, 12 goals, 10-82. That's the only other game so far today in this abridged round 13, a very elongated one at that, because it's a public holiday Monday in certain parts, and the big freeze at the MCG is on Monday for Collingwood versus Melbourne. It was a game that was played at the SCG last year, which was Nathan Buckley's last game as Collingwood coach, and the Magpies surprisingly won that. So among the little things going back to normality for Melburnians, Jeff, see your D's and the slide and the beanies and so forth. We've got North Melbourne and Greater Western Sydney to get through tomorrow before we get to those that have the holiday Monday. In the National Rugby League today, South Sydney has defeated the Gold Coast Titans by 30 points to 16. Currently, we've got the game going on at the SCG between the Roosters and the Melbourne Storm. That's a heavy-hitting contest there. And, in fact, it's over, and the Storm have won it by 26 points to 18. Meanwhile, across town at Lang Park, the Broncos are playing the Canberra Raiders, and the Broncos currently leading it by 6 points to 4. And that was after the Brumbies were beaten in the Super Rugby Pacific qualifiers. Cruel finish there with the Auckland Blues, setting up a date with the Canterbury Crusaders that finished 20 points to 19 there. Lions by 3 points, a good first term here at the Gabba. Hope you're enjoying it all on ABC Sports Grandstand AFL.
Ready for some new adventures? Back Roads is back. From the macho mining town of Tom Price in WA to outback Queensland and Tasmania's Cradle Mountain, join me, Heather Hewitt, and some of my fellow guest explorers for a journey to some of this country's most remote towns, full of surprising and memorable characters.
All new Back Roads. New adventures Monday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
It's on to Webster. Webster takes a bounce. Has a go with his left foot. It's King versus Andrews. There's been a free kick called. Bit of a tangle. King will win the free kick on a tight angle. Max King. Oh, look at that for a kick. What a great way to open for the Saints.
Ross found a path, couldn't mark, ropes his own crumb. Hand pass to Butler. He's hooked to the top of the goal square. King, mark or arm chop. It's the ladder. Free kick, St Kilda. Point blank. The Max King, 25 metres out. His second of the night is the Saints' second of the night. The ump throws it up in the air quickly again. Chance for Crouch. His clearing kick went straight to Danaher. Slapped it on his boot and Joe kicks a goal. And there's a bit going on after that. The goal from Danaher counts, and Cameron's going to get a second opportunity to shoot at goal.
Just saw it on the screen. Brad Crouch has just grabbed him high and thrown him to the ground after the fact.
Cameron gets a chance to make it 2 goals in a millisecond for Brisbane, and he kicks the goal from 40 metres out. And that puts Brisbane in front.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Tasty 30 minutes to get us underway in the only Saturday night football of round 13. Welcome back to the Gabba. Quentin Hale with you for ABC Sport. Brisbane 2-4, leading the Saints 2-1. A 3-point lead to the locals. Then after the Dockers beat the Hawks by 13 points earlier today. Stick with us throughout the night, not only for the broadcast of this game, but during the half-time break. We'll hear from returning dual Brownlow medalist Nat Fyfe, who spoke to our team after the game in the West today. So that'll be fantastic to hear his insights off the back of his personal return and another important win for the Dockers. Keep your messages, by the way, coming in on the SMS line. The number is 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Jeff White and Matthew Primus got a bit to chew through. It was tasty, as I mentioned. It was a good start.
Great,
like it.
Great game. And we just come out with that finesse that the Saints have been playing. Slingshot footy up, get into the corridor. I'm really impressed with their transitional running, especially from stop plays. They're getting enough numbers at the contest, and led by Crouch and Jones and Wood and Ross and all these guys that are just slingshotting off that defensive pressure. And they've been first to the ball, but this is a cracking game. This is a really high-intensity game, and noticed a lot that the half-forwards of Brisbane have been coming up, and they've had those kicks over the back, which Danaher's been able to get onto. We saw one play there with Cameron going into an open forward line. So they're trying to get the numbers up. They're trying to squash. But Saints, you can see what they're trying to do, Matty. They're trying to squash. They don't want Brisbane to go through the corridor. They want them to go wide. And they're really focused on that. And it's very evident in what we're watching right now.
Yeah, it is. It's two completely contrasting styles. One high handball, run and stun, high contested possession where Brisbane are sort of uncontested marks. But at the moment, advantage to Brisbane, 16-9 inside 50s and leading on the scoreboard.
3 points to lead at quarter time. Michael Price gets us underway for the second term.
Oh, Paddy Ryder about a metre above, gets the ball down. It's immediately hacked through by Wilkie. Out to McKenzie now, wins the one-on-one against Mitch Robinson. The left foot goes deep inside 50. Oh, from the pack, Membry I thought was going to take the mark, couldn't quite clunk it. Adams, he picks it up, he's tackled, could be holding the ball, it is. Great attacking work in their forward 50 from Crouch. Makes the tackle, and he'll get a shot from 40 out.
That's that transitional running from. He's the one that's starting in the midfield. There he's laying the tackle in the forward line. So Brisbane's got to be onto that. They've really got to be aware of the transitional running from the Saints.
So Brad Crouch, number 5 in the AFL for tackles, by the way. Pretty handy. Comes in from 30. Well, it's a little left, but it's another goal for the Saints. They hit the front, 3-1-19, plays 2-4-16. St Kilda by 3 points. A minute gone, second term, grandstand AFL. Michael Price and Quentin Hull with our experts, Jeff White and Matty Primus.
Well, I haven't seen too much of the Saints apart from on TV, but there's no doubt that I reckon after last week, Brisbane got scorched away from the contest. They got scored against some centre bounce. I heard Jared Lyons get interviewed during the week on radio, and Saints have definitely come with that because Crouch isn't a great runner, well known in the AFL as a great runner, or a spreader as they say nowadays. But as you said, Whitey, he was the first one back inside their forward 50 to lay that tackle there. So no doubt they come with emphasis to try and get outside Neil, Lyons and the other Brisbane midfielders there, and that certainly worked on that occasion.
Matt Primus with you on Grandstand AFL. Centre bounce, St Kilda back in the lead, 3-1-19 to Brisbane's 2-4-16. McInerney beats Ryder for the tap. Neil eventually got a hand to it for the clearance, but under pressure, Lachie Neale's kick to half forward is marked by McKenzie of St Kilda. Kicks to the wing looking for Hill. Nudges Starcevic illegally under the ball. Put his hands in the back. Free kick to Starcevic. Plays on quickly. Kicks infield to Lyons. His kick to Rich in the bullseye. Now the booming left boot from Bam Bam deep to full forward. Met beautifully by Webster. and takes the intercept mark for the Saints at full back. Plays on with his left boot, kicks it to the left half-back flank, and the presenting Marshall takes the grab for the Saints.
So Big Rowan, he looks out of his peripheral vision and goes for the left shoe towards the boundary line, finds Ross, who just gathers it in time. He composes himself, finds a teammate and who's just urging them forward in Owens. It's a long kick now inside 50. It's going to be favoured by Brisbane. They had the numbers. Andrews and McCluggage almost conspired to muck that up. Coming through, it was off Gresham's hands. No, it was actually smacked into the goal post. Now,
wow.
Gresham's been awarded a free kick for a deliberate rush through behind. I just want to see Harris Andrews is standing the mark. He can't buy anything as Gresham plays on and kicks the goal to the hoots of the Gabba crowd. 4 goals to the Saints, 4-1-25, plays 2-4-16. 9-point lead, 3 gone, second term. Controversy at the Gabba.
Was he under a lot of pressure? I looked at it as though it was just going to be a point.
Yeah.
Everyone else thought that.
He's about a metre and a half away from the goal. We're just awaiting a replay. Not one has been shown around the ground as yet.
You can actually see the players going out to their positions and spreading from as though it was going to be a point kick in.
Well, no replay furnished any way, shape, or... Oh, here's one coming up on the ground replay.
And, yeah, the call was right. Was beyond the goal square.
Beyond the goal square, yes.
Yes.
So inside the 10
and it
metres,
wasn't Andrews, it was McCluggage who got pinged.
So McCluggage jumped in front of Harris, slapped it through for a behind, and a rightful free kick.
That's excellent umpiring.
Yep.
Restart in the middle. Saints lead by 9 points. A rush clearance for Brisbane out to right half forward. Bounces in clean territory there. Long taps it to Sinclair. His hand pass put Rotts under pressure and his hand pass is turned over. Stolen by Rayner on the boundary. 55 out. Hand pass to Neal. Chip into the corridor. Danaher let out. Spoiled away by McKenzie. Picked up by Long of the Saints. They mop up in the time of need. Hand pass to the pocket. Found Webster. He to Sinclair. Chip and mark then to Battle. Now the kick outside, defensive 50. Gathered on the bounce in the middle of the ground by Long. Hand pass defensive, looking for Owens. Had to go to Deck. Hard footy to win, but the Saints have got the numbers. Sinclair another little chip, and now they might slow it down as he gets it to Long, forward of left half back.
Memories of Darwin, the St Mary's product, goes out to the boundary line. It's a long kick there that finds Owens and the outer bench on the Stanley Street side of the ground. He's back in board with the ball on the logo. Just a long kick now towards left half forward. Big pack's going to fly. Marshall has it fisted away from him by Adams. Roving was Starcevic under pressure from Ryder. He gives the handball to Lyons. Ryder still putting the pressure on, as is Sinclair, but it comes back into McCluggage. Tries to measure a pass. Misses the target. Danaher enters the fray. Handball there to Rayner. That was a beautiful tackle from Long on the logo, but it will be rewarded only by a bounce on the outer side. It's the Saints by 9.
Tossed in the air. McInerney got a knuckle. Fists it 20 metres forward. McStay picks up, hands it to Berry, kick smothered by Wood. Ball ricochets back to the wing. Jared Lyons picks up for Brisbane. Chips it to attacking 50, but met by Wilkie. There's a collision of players before Wilkie marked it, and it's going to be a Brisbane free kick in that clatter. Lincoln McCarthy was taken out by Ben Long. Didn't see it first time, I must admit, just following the footy. Saw the men go down, and now we get a replay. Oh my word.
Soft.
Ben Long. Dear.
What's the vernacular? Not a lot in that?
Not a lot at all, just a bit of staging for me there.
Yeah.
Anyhow, sucked the umpire in.
Well, and then McCarthy sort of ran into the back of a teammate and went down. And the men in lime green bought it. McCarthy from 53 metres out. That's a beautiful kick, though. What a strike on the right. Lions find an answering goal. Still the Saints by 3 points here. When you haven't got heaps of footy to go around in this middle part of the year, you want what you get to be good. And this is good so far. 7 minutes in, it's St Kilda 4-1-25, Brisbane 3-4-22.
Yeah, it's great footy to watch, and it is an arm wrestle. It is back and forth, and whoever's got the poise. At the moment, I think the Saints have got the ascendancy in relation to their foot skills at the moment. Their foot skills are really good. They're able to spread, they're spreading out to the wings, and they're coming back in the middle. So they're creating space when those players are running out to the wing. So I think they've been able to. They're just using the ball a bit better at the moment, but it's certainly a great game.
It's an up and back game, isn't it? There's no stoppages. It's up and back.
As good as it is, and there's been talk about the number of free kicks, there have been 7 goals kicked. 6 of them have come from free kicks.
So we'll get that bounce recalled.
And all been there apart from probably that last.
So, and again, you can't just take the numbers of free kicks. It's about whether or not they're there or not. There was a good piece in the News Limited press today about in the 90s when there were lots of free kicks. There were also lots of forwards kicking goals as well.
Yep.
Ball thrown up, clearance, Brisbane. It's with Zorko onto the right foot immediately inside 50, off hands. Dev Robertson taps it to his own advantage in traffic, then has to go back and try and get it himself. Picked up Dougal Howard for St Kilda, tumbles it forward. Coleman can't handle it for Brisbane. Marshall comes in. The collision of bodies puts the ball in the hands of Jared Lyons, kicks it towards right half forward, bounces to the 50. Dougal Howard tries to finesse it to the boundary line, picked up by McCluggage. He's tackled off the ball. Now they've got another chance, the Saints. Back to Dougal Howard, long kick, out of there. Zorko puts his body in front of the pack at right half forward. Then Robertson picks it up, then tackled, then swung 360 into the ground. The crowd wants something. The umpire wants the ball, and he'll ball it up at right half forward for the Lions.
3 points the lead to the Saints. 8.5 minutes second term. McCluggage just keeps the ball in from the stoppage near the boundary. 50 out, centering kick. Punch towards the goal line. Wood there for the Saints. Rayner got in, got rid of it in time. Ump says play on. Gabba crowd says, where's the free? Nope, it's going to be a ball up. Oh, now it's going to be a free kick to St Kilda, not a ball up. Battle applied a tackle on Mitch Robinson, and Mitch was holding the ball.
Mitch reacted like Mitch does, and the crowd reacts when Mitch reacts like Mitch does.
So Battle from the right back pocket, kicks it to right half back. Dev Robertson slid in front for Brisbane to take the mark. Kicks in field. Marked by Zorka. 60 out. You can see him. Yep, Rayner. Oh, Matty, well called, but it went beyond him, and it was well read by Wilkie, who marks at full back for the Saints.
He chips the kick across the pockets to Long. Long now trying to find a teammate in McKenzie. Well done by Berry to spoil it, but McKenzie kept it at ground level. Enter Kadeem Coleman with a bit of toe. He picks it up, handball to Berry, tries the 1-2 back to Coleman. Zach Jones comes in. Now there's a free kick being called. It's going to go back to St Kilda. There's a hold on play. Chipping it forward now. It's with Rowan Marshall just short of the centre circles. It went to Jade Gresham. Now there's a 50. Gresham did beautifully then. That was a professional run. He went one way, then the other, and his opponent followed him. Matty Primus, you saw it as well as I did.
Oh, it's a hard rule for the oppo when you're chasing somebody, and you'd like the umpires to give him a bit of, if you're chasing a dangerous player in Gresham, you've got to do everything you can to catch him. But, well, the players know the rule, and unfortunately he wasn't thinking quick enough to Brisbane line.
Well, it was Dane Zorko, so a very experienced player in Gresham sucked in a very experienced player in Zorko. That results in Rowan Marshall having a shot 35 metres out directly in front, the big fella, and Chris Fagan not looking happy on the big screen, the Lions coach. Rowan Marshall, how does he go at goal, boys?
Pretty good.
He goes pretty well, 8 goals too. There you go. That was the commentator's curse, Whitey. Your first experience at that. And one behind.
It's normally you. You got me into that. You walked me straight into that one, didn't you?
4 goals, 2-26 to 3-4-22. It's the Saints by 4 points, 11 gone, second quarter.
Leaned back and hooked it to the left there, Rowan Marshall.
Geez, I don't like that 10-metre rule, like the vicinity of the player. It's just too hard in the modern game. It's how fast it is.
Rich with the kick in to McCluggage, a rather short kick for Rich, only 30 metres upfield. McCluggage still inside D50. Has to chip it to right half back, gathered on the bounce by Answorth. His kick to the wing marked by Berry. Does Jared? Tommy did ride a winner at Eagle Farm today too. But his brother's not playing. Jared on the wing again. Berry, that is. Long to full forward. Free kick, Brisbane. Dan McStay got manhandled by Battle in the battle.
What I've loved this quarter, Brisbane have brought some great heat in their forward 50. The Saints have been trying to get out, but it's just getting rebounded straight back in, and even that one there flowed out of St Kilda's forward line too easy. Brisbane are bringing really good heat when Saints got the ball in hand this quarter.
I think they've realised too that if they try and go in the middle, they're going to turn it over. So just go wide and just use it.
Pick 25 from the Eastern Rangers back in 2013. Game 150 for Daniel McStay. No goal there. Left foot shot is miss on the near side. 3 points the lead to the Saints at 4-2-26 to 3-5-23.
So St Kilda bring the ball back in quickly through Sinclair. Kicks it to a one-on-one. Good body work. Got rid of Kadeem Coleman. It was Owens who put the body work in, and then he got tackled high by Berry. Will receive the free kick. Good young player in only his third game, Mitch Owens. Taken it 33 in last year's draft as part of the St Kilda Academy. Teammate in Marcus Windhager as well, part of that system. They're good mates. A long kick from Owens. Towards right half forward. Great body work by Marshall. Just got rid of Adams. Took the big strong mark. And now it's a long kick inside 50. Dangerous ball. Mitch Robinson misread it. It hits the deck. Chance at ground level off the ground. Butler has a go. One behind with the left foot kick off the deck. The Saints lead extends to 4 points. 27 plays 23 with 13 gone, second term.
And Rich again taking a moment or two to assess options with the kick in. Brisbane led by 3 points at quarter time. After the Saints kick the first couple of goals, this is going to be one of those long ones from Rich. He runs 20 metres upfield, bangs the left boot towards the interchange wing, and a great mark taken by the Saints. Drifting back with the flight. Was it Battle? Yeah, it was.
What a mark.
Josh Battle getting in front of the pack. So he'll inject the Saints from the wing back into attack. Long kick to the pocket. King's got a couple to beat. It's off knuckles and out of play for a throw in. Thank you for your messages on the SMS 0437774774. Wingnut and Shepparton says, how funny, I'm doing the same as Haley from Echuca. Shed, beer and ABC Radio. Good on you.
I'm liking this shed idea.
Yeah, it'd be a bit cold out in the shed, wouldn't it? Anyway, boundary throw in. Saints in attack, but the hand pass goes to Richard. Brisbane, last line of defence, gives it to Adams. That is a hoping spiral up and under torpedo to attacking 50 for the Saints. Roved though by Berry of Brisbane. Hand pass to McCluggage, kick to the wing, sat on the head of Dev Robertson. Smashed away from him by Webster, close to the boundary line. Marshall decides to keep it in. Got there. Hand pass hoping for Webster. Can't get him out of play. Now Tyrone Lincoln in Alice Springs. He's camping out by the, I don't know, is it Finca or Fink track? F-I-N. Is it the Fink track?
Yes, the race started today.
Right now, sitting by the fire listening to the game on the desert race starting tomorrow. Go the Saints. Yep. Good on you, Tyrone. Thank you.
Throw in commentary box, wing towed off the deck by McCluggage. It goes all the way to the paint of 50. Saints with a chance though. Comes back through Battle. Now Howard. Sweeping handball towards the boundary line at right half back, finds Seb Ross. He wants to measure it now. Goes over the head of Mason Wood. Marshall does well, the big fella. Subterranean handball to the run of Higgins. Tackled by Coleman. Slung over the boundary line. Ball spills out to Mason Wood. And he is sat on by Jared Berry. Now the crowd's not happy because the free kick was for a high shot Berry put on Wood. No, it was for that slung I mentioned earlier. On Coleman on Higgins, who plays on. It's a high ball inside 50. Adams with the sit defensively. He spores it forward through the hands of McStay. Daniel Rich with the handball. Mitch Robinson has it. Oh, they're out here, the Lions with numbers. Zorko, middle of the ground. He goes to the one-on-one inside 50. And it's Bailey versus Jimmy Webster, who nails Bailey. Did beautifully, got the ball and handballed it out there to Patton.
Long kick to the leading Membry on the wing. Spoiled away by Neal. McCarthy applies a tackle on Windhager to lock it up. And we'll see a bounce.
Did Zorko have better options than the one-on-one? He had four players out there.
Yeah, but the setup from Mitch Robinson to change direction was beautiful.
Clean possession. Marshall out of the ruck. Quick kick marked by Membry on the wing. Hand passes to Crouch. Runs in field. Hand passes it back to Membry on half forward. Deep entry on the right boot to King in the pocket. Read it beautifully. Nudged Andrews out of the way and takes a mark while falling to deck. And he'll have his shot from hard on the boundary in the left forward pocket.
What a kick. Well weighted kick.
And King's craft. Harris had it in front and then he did a bit of fancy footwork, was able to then get Harris Andrews to turn his head away from the ball and then slipped in behind him.
Looking to execute the right foot snap punt from the left forward pocket. Near side miss from Max King, who now has 2 goals, 1, and St Kilda 4 goals, 4, 28 to Brisbane's 3-5-23. Locals trail by 5 points. It's the Saints with the running, 17 minutes into the second term.
in McCluggage, he's having some sort of game, not just purely with numbers, which I'm not quite sure what they are. But
18.
And if he gets the ball in hand, he's breaking lines and looks very damaging.
And 4 clearances, Matty Primus, so he's doing well. McCluggage, a couple of weeks back from what people thought was a slightly scary, a hamstring strain. Now Harris Andrews wants to exit the ball. Oh, dangerous kick to Coleman on the paint of 50. It was half spoiled by Mason Wood, but they still get out. Now Answorth wants to measure the kick to McCarthy, who was stuck behind and out. Heighted by Howard. He spoiled the ball and then laid the tackle beautifully as Wilkie gathered that ball that McCarthy spoiled. McCarthy laid the tackle, wins the free kick on centre wing. Goes forward to Berry, now backwards towards Zorko on the logo.
Right on the edge of the centre square, kick to centre half forward, marked by Rich, floating down from defence. Right on the edge of that booming left foot's range. Man on the mark, 58 metres out. You hear the crowd. No, he's not going to go for goal. Kicks it to the pocket, the lead of Rayner. Strong hands, one clunk mark under pressure in the pocket. Oh, that wasn't the easiest assignment against Wilkie. He was hot on his hammer. But Rayner, too good. And he'll have a shot from 40 metres out.
Jones from the Saints too, just waving his hands. There was 2 Saints that were back towards a goal, and there was Rayner and Bailey in their forward pocket where he took the mark. So bit of miscommunication there from the Saints.
This to give Brisbane the lead at the 18.5-minute mark of this second quarter. It's been a highly entertaining game so far. Cam Rayner on the set shot with his right, pushes it right, and it's a point. 4 points the lead to the Saints. 28 plays 24. Jess Stewart on the boundary.
I'll tell you what, the Gabba crowd doesn't get any louder than when Daniel Rich gets the ball within about 70 metres of the goals.
Forward of the centre circles, they just start buzzing. Now Zach Jones has got it inside defensive 50 for St Kilda, measures the pass, and it is beautiful to 70 metres out from that goal. He finds Crouch. Crouch holding it up. Brisbane set up nicely in front of him. 19 gone, second term. Saints by 4 points. Now Crouch, oh, that's an awful kick. It's slewed off the side of his boot. Into the fence, on the full. Free kick, Brisbane. Lockneil wastes no time. 20-metre kick forward. Now Zach Barley announced the Saints' turn to set up quickly and nicely in front. 20-metre pass finds Zorko, who's pointing at the man on the mark, looking to release himself. Danaher, I was right. Danaher on the lead. Zorko went to honour that lead, kicked it over Danaher's head. He was just appealing for a push in the back, free kick. Nothing doing. Throw in, forward pocket.
Like to see getting his hands up there, Q.
Nothing
Better
worse.
putting his head down.
Nothing worse than when a leading forward runs underneath the ball. And when you can't blame the kick, is what I'm trying to say. Boundary throw in, no clearance.
Well, I was being generous to Joe.
It was coming from Zorko.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad kick.
Danaher now flies early in the ruck and gives away a free kick because Paddy Ryder wasn't given a chance to attack it.
Dead set, that's 50 of being demonstrative about a month ago.
It was 7 days ago. It's been changed. Chip infield from Ryder, marked by Ross. Still inside D50. That's a 50-metre kick to the left half-back flank from Ross. And it's marked by Battle. Plays on. Chips it over the man on the mark to the running Wilkie. Hand pass to Long. Hand pass to Webster. The Saints run to the wing. Now Webster's kick to half forward looking for Membry. Gardner does enough to fist it out of play. Boundary thrown on attacking 50 for the Saints at left half forward. It was the Lions by 3 points at quarter time. It's now the Saints by 4 at 4-4-28.
If the Lions
3-6-24.
Sorry, Q. If the Lions continue to keep that connection, that flow from the Saints, they're going to find it really hard to stop them.
Throw in across half forward for St Kilda. It just goes straight underneath a pack of players. Umpires come in here now. There's a bit of a rumble going on as Zach Jones comes in and pulls Zorko out. So obviously something's happened. Dane gets involved. It's a free kick, St Kilda.
Higgins has got it.
Higgins has got it now. I was just looking at the umpire. He's having a very, very close chat to Dane Zorko. I was just wondering whether he took his number there. There was a play on now. Big kick from Higgins to the line and off hands. Thought he caught everybody unawares there, did the former Richmond goal sneak, but 1 point results. St Kilda 29, the Lions 24, 5 points the difference. 21 gone, second turn.
Kadeen Coleman's going to do the kicking in. Runs a couple of metres and then drives a lovely left foot drop punt to Danaher. Big fly, couldn't mark on the half-back flank. Rode front and square by Neil of Brisbane. His kick's a bit of a towering up and under on the head of Cameron on the wing. Couldn't mark and the Saints win the crumb. Rode there by Crouch. Here's kick towards attacking 50. Marshall once, twice, thrice. No, it juggled clear. Play on. Coleman got it for Brisbane. Tackle but towed it to the advantage of Neil. The Lions out of trouble. Hand pass to Bailey. Hand pass to Dev Robertson. His kick from forward of right half back is looking for Danaher. Howard got in the way and then Danaher gave away a stupid free kick. Realised he didn't get to the drop. Howard dropped the mark but Danaher grabbed his shoulder anyway.
Howard played on. Went to centre half back to find Bradley Hill. Now he's got a man open on the wing. Mason Wood. 65 games with North Melbourne. Mason Wood. Handball forward to the run of Sinclair. Has a bounce. The flowing locks are one of the best mullets in football. Kicks it inside 50. Kadeem Coleman floats to the front of the pack. Could have been awarded the mark and or a free kick. Let's say he was rewarded the free kick and that was the noise of affirmation behind him.
He worked really hard there from open side, right back over the skinny side where the kick was, positioned himself in front of the tall forward there and got the free kick.
So Kadeem Coleman has the free kick in left back pocket for Brisbane.
Just a reminder, about 3.5 minutes to the break. We'll hear from Nat Fyfe during the half-time break after the Dockers won by 13 points earlier today. Kick to the wing. Here's his ex-teammate, Lockie Neal, winning the ball for Brisbane. Kick to half-forward and a 2-on-2, but Patton going back with a flight takes the mark for the Saints. Chip infield on the 45, barely the 15 up, says it's good enough to pay the mark to Mason Wood. And Wood's going to chip it all the way back to centre half back. The Wagga product, Dougal Howard. Chips forward to Sev Bross. And he's just taking a moment at the defensive edge of the centre square. Centre half back, he's running backwards, Ross. And now he passes beautifully to the open spaces of the half back flank. That's excellent setup. Marked by McKenzie, uncontested for St Kilda. He's kicked down the wing a little too high for Membry, but he was able to tap it to his own advantage. Gathers, gets on his right boot and kicks it into attack. Coleman, though. The lithe half-back for Brisbane left his man and takes a great intercept mark for the Lions. Plays on, almost bit off too much. Eventually got the hand pass to Adams, whose kick is good from defensive 50, marked by Dev Robertson.
He's at right half-back, just very watchful as Tim Membry stands the mark for St Kilda. Now he looks back inboard. Oh, dangerous kick. He wanted to go laterally to Coleman, and King almost robbed him of it. Coleman picked him up and picked the ball up, then sold a beautiful dummy to get out of traffic. Kicked it to the wing. It's fisted down to the ground level, and Dev Robertson jumps on board. Tapped it out now to the run of Lockie Neal. He can't control it. Big collision going backward is young Owens for St Kilda, who hasn't moved. Oh, he's just barely moved. The ball goes over the boundary line. A fair contest. But boy, oh boy, that's going to be a concussion protocol for sure.
Not far away from Jess Stewart. You've got prime position. What have you got there?
Link McCarthy's also come to the bench as well with the doctors. He's getting checked. It's been a head clash between the two of them. Just bang straight on collision between the two of them.
This is interesting. It's not unlike the Port Adelaide incident in the Richmond game. So McCarthy goes to the bench just to get a drink. He hasn't gone for the head injury assessment, but it was Owens who looked a little bit more rattled, the teenager from the Sandringham Dragons, and he's definitely going to have his faculties assessed. So both men are off the ground and play is back underway. Boundary throw in out of side. Clean possession, McInerney of Brisbane. His towed clearance, not all that effective. Ross is able to pick up for the Saints. Hand pass to Jones, hands it to Sinclair, and now the kick from the half-back flank towards half-forward. Back to the pack, McInerney knuckles it away. Bit of ping-pong here. It goes back to the middle of that wing area where the Saints have the numbers, and it's Jones kicking it to half-back to Wilkie. And Danaher got in the exclusion zone at the wrong point. Foot on landmine in the 38th parallel. And 50-metre penalty downfield. Wilkie from 60 metres out, kicks it to the pocket for the Saints, and a big fly. Is that a mark? Is it going to be paid? I think so, to McKenzie. I think he had a controlling juggle while falling on his rump on the Gabba turf, 30 metres out from goal.
Is Mitch Robinson clearly going to suggest to us that putting your hand over your mouth while saying something is going to stop you from being king?
No, I think he just didn't want to get himself on a poster.
Now they're booing because it didn't look like a mark. Looks like he
dropped it. Dropped way down, yep.
That was the Gary Ablett senior moment.
Blakey Sadon's been in the news this week too.
That's quiet.
Gary Pert, of course. Now Mackenzie from the mark, kicks the goal. Saints are by 11 points, close to half-time. St Kilda 5-5-35, Brisbane 3-6-24, 27-minute second term. Jess Stewart on the boundary.
Yeah, Mitch Owens is bleeding from the nose after that heavy collision, so he is looking like they're just trying to get that sorted out now, and then no doubt he will have that HIA head injury assessment done, just as protocol.
Playing good footy here, the Saints. They are connecting, particularly from the half-back line, but they're forcing number of times there where Brisbane's got the ball. Normally they would hand pass it, they go through the middle, they use their feet. They're just blazing in the air. Saints are then getting back, getting their numbers, working together really well, and the connection of their foot skills at the moment from the particularly half-back line is outstanding.
We're back into the middle. Marshall versus McInerney. Marshall gets it over, towed forward for the Saints. Starcevic tries to cut it off for Brisbane, can't gather it. Daniel Rich does. He's immediately tackled into the ground at the traditional centre-half forward position. Umpire Matt Stevick will come in, take the ball and ball it upwards. We see young Owens on the bench, at least to his feet, and that's a good sign for the young man. Ball up. Seb Ross, tackled low by Charlie Cameron. He lets loose the ball. Jared Lyons now sweeping handball out to the wing. Mitch Robinson, full of passion and vigour, but he went without the agate, and it comes back now to Payton. A long kick inside 50. Big pack flies. Is that a grab?
Yes,
it is a grab. Now the crowd's stunned. I just could not believe a man that size in Jack Higgins emerged from a pack of 8 people with the pill. He's 25 out, or let's say 35 out, but an angle to the left. Jess Stewart's on the boundary.
Mitch Owens has gone down to the room for his head injury assessment.
Okay, so we've got young Saint in Mitch Owens going down for
Was a mark.
concussion assessment. Higgins now for St Kilda. Strikes it and strikes it wide. One behind, and that is half-time. What an intriguing game of football here at the Gabba. The crowd is buzzing. They are really enjoying the contest. The Saints more than the Lions at the moment. 5-6-36 to 3-6-24. It's an even 2-goal lead to St Kilda at half-time. Their goal scorers. Big Max King has 3. We've got Crouch, Gresham and McKenzie, the other goal scorer for St Kilda. For Brisbane, it's a pretty easy addition there. Charlie Cameron's got 1, Joe Danaher's got 1, and Link McCarthy has 1.
Brisbane by 3 points at quarter time, but now St Kilda, courtesy of a 3-goal 5 to 1-goal 2 second term lead at half time. And the locals getting a little fractious here.
Getting a little hairy with the umpiring fraternity here.
Yep. As they walk from the ground just in front of us on the members' side. Out of curiosity, free kick is St Kilda's way, 14-10. So perhaps that's got something to do with it. Stick around. We'll get further assessment individually, collectively, from the Dockers win over the Hawks. They won by 13 points. One dual Brownlow medalist making his return for the Purple. While they're humming, they won by 13 points. We'll hear from Nat Fyfe during the break. But first, I want to hear from our dueling ruckman, our 2 big men, Matt Primus and Jeff White. It's been a really enjoyable half of footy to be at. What's the analysis?
Well, I thought Brisbane probably won that quarter for 20 minutes. I think they evened up the contested possession, which they were getting smacked in the first quarter. They evened that right up. They dominated centre bounce. The ball lived down their end of the ground, but they couldn't capitalise on the scoreboard, mainly because Saints get so, as Whitey's mentioned a few times during the call, Saints get so many numbers back. It's a great style of, well, it's a hard part of their game style that they do. Their runnings, their half forwards got to get up so their wingers can get back, but they clog up your forward 50, and hence why Brisbane's inaccuracy and their shots on goals haven't been great. And then the last 5 or 6 minutes, the Saints sort of changed their method. Instead of that high handball, which was putting them under the pump, they chose, as you mentioned again, Whitey, to kick and catch a little bit more. And then when they got it in their forward 50, they were still able to get one-on-ones and have really good contests, a lot different to what Brisbane had. And then they were able to hit the scoreboard the last 3 or 4 minutes. So terrific for Brisbane, St Kilda to be able to hang on. But a really intriguing game style. I wonder if Saints will try and get that handball game up and running after half-time and have a rest, or they'll go back to playing a bit of that slow method. But, a great first half to see really two contrasting styles of footy.
And their pressure's just outstanding at the moment, the Saints. And as I said throughout that second quarter, if they continue to get that into those connections by foot and hand, especially when they're spreading on the wing, Brisbane's not going to keep up with them. But the other thing is with this, it takes a lot of effort. It's a high-intensity game that they're playing.
Mate, yeah.
You know, they got Higgins, they've got Butler, all coming up, slingshot, then going back forward. It's a high-intensity game, but it's working.
I wonder if that's why they slowed down, Whitey, the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Just because you can't keep playing that way.
And then what they do is then they squash the middle. So when Brisbane get the ball, they're going, oh, I can't chip there, I can't chip there. Okay, I'll kick it long.
Yep.
Then that's turnover, and then their battle's been able to come off and get some intercept marks and stuff like that. And then they get their transition. They're owning the corridor at the moment purely because they're forcing Brisbane to go wide. So then when they get the ball on the half-back line, they're going through the middle or they're spreading in themselves. But Brisbane's got to get... It starts in the middle at the moment, and I look at Crouch, I look at Jones, and I've been watching them, and Ross as well. Their transitional running from stop plays is outstanding at the moment. And it's higher than what Lachie Neale. I know that Lachie Neale's had a bit of the ball, Lions and McCluggage and stuff like that, but their transitional running is superior at the moment. So, like I said, it's high intensity, Q, but can they sustain that? If they can, they'll win this game, the Saints.
And interesting, it's the most Docklands that the Gabba gets tonight. That cool, clear, no wind. You know what it's like when you play under the roof there, and it just feels like you're in a cold room. And it feels a bit like that's that. The most that the Gabba never really feels like Docklands. And we know it's sort of different footy there and it pings around, but it's the most Docklands that the Gabba's ever going to get, I think.
Call,
tonight. So I think the Saints will feel comfortable in that environment. There's none of the Brisbane humidity. No. It's not as warm as you'd usually think. It as I said, it's the closest that the Gabba would get to Docklands tonight. I like this message before we go to the news. If you can want to send a text, 0437 774 774.
One of the best.
G'day guys, first time texter, long time listener. Just wondering, when you say kicking to the left side of the radio dial, am I looking at the radio or am I the radio? Best wishes, go Saints. Adrian from Cumberland on the Great Ocean Road.
Oh, should be fresh down there.
That's a philosophical question from me.
That's from you, Pricey. You got to answer that one. You say that all the time.
That's a bit deep on a Saturday night, isn't it?
Have another glass.
Aren't we all the radio?
You know what? I'm not going to answer that. I'm just going to let it hang out there during the news. Thank you, Adrian. See, the power of radio. The word, pictures, only radio allows you to use your imagination.
Theatre of the mind.
To help within our wonderful sound effects, microphones and all that. Good on you, Adrian. That number again, 0437 774 774. On my way to the news, what's happening in the National Rugby League across town? The Raiders lead the Broncos at halftime, 18-16. After the Storm beat the Roosters 26-18 and the Bunnies beat the Titans 30-16. And repeating that Super Rugby Pacific score, it's the Blues of Auckland versus the Crusaders of Christchurch in the final, after the Brumbies were beaten in a heartbreaker by the men from Auckland, 20 points to 19. Good game of footy here at the Gabba. 2 goals to lead to the Saints. It's halftime. We'll be back after the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. French Defence Minister has suggested the election of a new federal government in Australia could be the turning point for relations between the two countries. Ties between Canberra and Paris have been strained since last year when the former Prime Minister Scott Morrison tore up a $90 billion submarine contract with French shipbuilder Naval Group. This morning, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced Australia would pay $830 million to the company in compensation for the decision. Speaking through a translator at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, the French Defence Minister Sébastien Lecornu suggested the new Prime Minister might have a better chance of patching things up with the Macron government.
There have been elections. There are elections in Australia, elections in France. In Australia, the previous majority was not re-elected, and in France, Emmanuel Macron was re-elected. So it gives us an interesting discussion framework.
The Prime Minister says he sees no impediments to a Tamil asylum seeker family's push to remain in Biloela permanently. The Nadasalingam family returned to the central Queensland town for the first time in 4 years yesterday, but they remain on temporary bridging visas. Supporters of the family are hopeful the government will grant them permanent residency. Anthony Albanese says the process for that will take place.
The only way that it could happen is for the way that it has the visa being issued, and then that application will go through. But I see no impediment to that occurring.
Ukrainian officials are warning of the risks of an epidemic in the Russian-occupied port of Mariupol due to poor humanitarian conditions. The city's mayor says there's already cases of cholera, dysentery and other infectious diseases. The World Health Organization representative in Kiev, Yano Hukbit, says the dirty water is the main problem for the devastated city, which suffered months of Russian bombings.
When we did the public health assessment of the whole country, we looked particularly Mariupol, and there is a high risk to cholera. We see the risk of cholera when people have less access to clean water.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has returned to Kyiv for a meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. She says they'll be discussing Ukraine's reconstruction and its progress towards European Union membership. In a Twitter post, she says she and Mr. Zelensky will take stock of the joint work needed for reconstruction and of progress made by Ukraine on its European path. Several American and Caribbean nations have called for greater inclusiveness at a regional forum held in the U.S. city of Los Angeles. Nations at the Summit of the Americas pledged to work for better policy on migration and security, but critics have slammed the exclusion of Cuba, Nicaragua and Venezuela due to disputes with Washington. Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Edwards says the absence of those nations shows a need to reform the regional dialogue.
The absence of the Republic of Cuba has made these deliberations less complete. We strongly affirm the need to always lead with consultation and diplomatic engagement, which is why we support efforts to breathe new life into the Inter-American Democratic Charter.
Reports in two major British newspapers say the heir to the throne, Prince Charles, has privately described the UK government's plans to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda as appalling. The Times and the Daily Mail report that the Prince has been heard criticising the policy, with the first flight taking refugees to the East African country due to leave next week. The Times says he's concerned the controversial policy will overshadow a Commonwealth meeting in Rwanda, where he's due to represent his mother, the Queen, at the end of the month. A Catholic priest in Brazil accused of running over a man who stole second-hand clothes from his church has been interviewed by police more than a month after the incident. Local media are accusing police of treating the alleged hit-and-run too leniently. Dominican Father Gustavo Trinidad dos Santos, who was also driving with an expired license, has denied any wrongdoing. The South Sydney Rabbitohs have come away with a 30-14 win over the Titans on the Gold Coast. The Rabbitohs led the first half of 12 points to 4. South's winger Alex Johnson was the standout, scoring a hat-trick and making him the NRL's 15th highest all-time try scorer, having notched up 150 in his career. It was also a big match for Rabbitohs hardman Thomas Burgess, who celebrated his 200th game with the club. You're up to date with the very latest from ABC News.
Did you know that ABC Listen has a little sibling?
Hi.
The ABC Kids Listen app, with music to move and podcasts to play. ABC Kids Listen stimulates curiosity, fires imaginations, and fosters good listening skills.
Wow! That's a funny noise.
Discover a world of entertainment that will spark creativity in the minds of your little ones and get them up and moving. Download ABC Kids Listen today, free from your app store.
If you love sport, we've got the podcast for you. ABC Sport Daily, your daily sports conversation.
Well, this is 3 decades in the making.
Whether or not you can put it on one single thing like the Billy factor.
He's a force, isn't he?
I'm not suggesting that this is an act of philanthropy by Greg Norman. I mean, he's getting paid lavishly.
And that's what scared me.
Well, Back in Black was a seminal album. I mean, come on.
It's all coffee and vibes at the moment, isn't it?
Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
The left foot goes deep inside 50. Oh, from the pack, Membry, I thought was going to take the mark, couldn't quite clunk it. Adams, he picks it up, he's tackled, could be holding the ball, it is. Great attacking work from Crouch from 30. It's a little left, but it's another goal for the Saints. They hit the front, a long kick now inside 50. Coming through, it was off Gresham's hands. No, it was actually smacked into the goal post. Now, Gresham's been awarded a free kick for a deliberate rush through behind.
Yeah, the call was right, was beyond the goal square.
Beyond the goal square, yes.
That's excellent umpiring.
Gresham plays on and kicks the goal to the hoots of the Gabba crowd.
Chips it to attacking 50, but met by Wilkie. There's a collision of players before Wilkie marked it, and it's going to be a Brisbane free kick in that clatter. Lincoln McCarthy was taken out by Ben Long.
What's the vernacular? Not a lot in that?
Not a lot at all, just a bit of staging for me there.
McCarthy from 53 metres out. That's a beautiful kick, though. What a strike on the right. Lions find an answering goal. Still the Saints by 3 points here. Wilkie from 60 metres out kicks it to the pocket for the Saints, and a big fly. Is that a mark? Is it going to be paid? I think so, to McKenzie. Now McKenzie from the mark kicks the goal. Saints are by 11 points. Close to half-time.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Standalone Saturday night at the Gabba in Brisbane. And it's a good one. The Saints are leading the locals by 2 goals. St Kilda 5-6-36. Brisbane 3-6-24. My name is Quentin Hull. We are ABC Sport. This is Grandstand AFL. You can keep your messages coming on the text line 0437 774 774. G'day to Mark in Adelaide. Hello Q. Enjoying the call. What's your best estimate of the crowd? We got told it's going to be around about the 25 to 26,000 tonight, which would be quite the roll-up, considering the Broncos are playing across town at the same time, and we had the big Stradbroke handicap race meeting today. G'day to Graham, who's sitting on the side of the road at Norseman. I hope it's by choice and not because of a broken down car or something, Graham. He says, go Saints, about time to win the flag again. And Dick in Hamilton has jumped onto our left and right of the radio dial. I'd always thought I was looking at the radio. Now I'm not so sure. Thank you, Dick. 0437 774 774. Outside of the Dockers winning. Pretty important, number 7, returning. 22 disposals and a goal for the man who chatted to Akash Fodata after the game.
I've got returning Freo skipper Nat Fyfe with me. Nat, first game back. How do you feel? How'd you pull up?
So far, everything feels like it should do. Ground out a pretty important win in the end against the team that came over and brought some good footy. So, we sit 10-3 going into the bye. It's a pretty reasonable position to be in.
Hawthorn sort of kept coming at you. They wouldn't really let you get away. Every time you kicked a couple, they brought one back. How tough was it out there to get that break on them?
Yeah, well, it was an arm wrestle all day, wasn't it? They play an exciting brand, and when they score heavily and quickly. And we sort of scouted that. We knew that would happen, but we couldn't really stem that flow throughout the game until sort of the second half. Felt like we just managed to muffle it enough that we could get our noses in front and stay there.
And how did you find that balance and that slight, change in role, playing a mix of mid and forward?
Yeah, it was. There's a fair bit to learn out there. Felt like a first gamer almost. Took me a while to find my legs and find my lungs, and just seeing the game from two different positions. As a midfielder, you're side on, you're in the cut and thrust. As a forward, you're playing with the game all in front of you. So I've got some work to do to try and routinise the different patterns, and I'm hopeful over the next 6-8 weeks I can sort of build to form.
And when you've been out for so long, you have played plenty of football with the likes of Sarong, Mundy, Brayshaw and all that before, but does it take a little while for that connection to come back?
It does, yeah. Dave and I's connection, our connection's pretty tight, but with Caleb and Andy and Will Brodie, Sean Darcy, James Ocean on the wing, Blake Acres, there's some work to do just to build that instinctiveness of where each of us are, what our strengths are, where we like to play. So, I was really lucky that Caleb was generaling out there, telling me where to go and where to stand, and as a senior player, that's a good position to be in.
Yeah. Those guys I mentioned, Sarong, Brayshaw, these guys have really developed, I guess, a bit in your absence. So how much does that help you and take the pressure off you when you return into a midfield that's developed over the last 12 weeks?
Yeah, enormously. Like, you'll never win a game of footy with one or two players playing well. You need a full system, and our midfield now is is a pretty broad structure. There's a lot to have to go after. If one gets off the chain and they clamp it, someone else can come up. And I think Andy and Caleb are the generals in there now, which for Dave and I is a good position to be in. We can just be the level heads and fill gaps where we need to.
And what's your plan to rest and recover for the bye?
I'll wake up tomorrow and do a quick audit physically and see where everything is at, and I'll try and do a little bit of movement through this break. Clearly I've only just played one game of AFL back, so I'm hungry to keep putting some work through my system, but mentally freshen up, get ready for a big back end of the year.
Great. Now, thanks so much for your time and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great to hear from Nat Fyfe, always so articulate. Well done, Akash Fotadat, getting that chat in the Dockers rooms after a 13-point victory for the Purple over the Hawks in the West. Now, we're not too far away from the second half here. Some numbers at three-quarter time. St Kilda leading by 2 goals. Seb Ross leading the way with 15 disposals. Brad Crouch 14, Jack Sinclair 13. They're the top 3 for the Saints. For Brisbane, it's Huma Cluggage and Lockie Neal, but both 18 apiece. Dan Rich has 14 off the back pocket / half back flank. Nothing in the overall count. Brisbane by 4 disposals-wise. The contested possessions, St Kilda winning that plus 13 though at 70 to 57. Marks, Brisbane plus 12. So Saints, as you were saying, Matty, happy to play contested ball. Brisbane trying to play keepings off, hence more marks. The clearances, Brisbane plus 4. The inside 50s, Brisbane plus 1. Free kicks, Saints 14, Lions 10.
Interesting, I read during the week, the Saints, teams playing the Saints have the worst accuracy shots on goal, and you can see by how they play, don't you, where they force you. Brizzy missed a couple of easy ones, but they do force you wide, they do force you have shots from difficult areas.
Well, they just own the corridor,
Yep.
and hey, you have it on the boundary line,
Yep.
and if you kick it,
and that might be a significant stat. If this is going to be probably a low-scoring game, it's going to be significant if they can force Brizzy to miss a few. Yes, Q, you're laughing?
They're going nuts now. We've got 20 seconds before the third term goes, so here we go.
The app one.
If I'm listening on the app, am I the phone or looking at the phone? Mark from Eupie says, hi, gents. Yes, you are definitely looking at the radio the same as the commentators are looking at the game. And Marcus from South Melbourne will give you the last call on this for the time being. The left of my radio is St Kilda every quarter. Most confusing. Okay, let's start the third term. 2 goals, the lead to the Saints. By the way, St Kilda is attacking the school end.
Which is the left as we look at it. McInerney slaps it down, though, only into the path of Jade Gresham. Had a ripping first half for St Kilda. He kicks it to right half forward, but it's read best by Brandon Starcevic. Nephew of Craig kicks it into the centre circles. McInerney was waiting, took it around his knees. Got a handball off to Daniel Rich, who predictably goes to the left foot. Goes out wide to the wing. Robinson. Now Neal. Received the handball. Back to Robinson to half forward. Long kick inside 50 now. McCarthy the target. Sinclair read it best for St Kilda. Gathered. Tumbled it towards half back. Contest. Membry jumps up, grabs it, tackle to the ground. Zorko. Then Starcevic can't pick it up. Hot footy on the 50. Picked up there by Membry and towed towards the outer wing. Brisbane are going to bring it back through Andrews.
Kicks infield. Coleman marks on the edge of the centre square. Kicks it across the centre of the ground. Adams marks. Now here's the entry to Cameron's got two to make. And an amazingly courageous mark taken by McKenzie. I think he's almost knocked himself out in landing. He's moving. Oh, that had visions of Nick Revolt at the SCG all those years ago. Not quite Jonathan Brownish going back with the head being smashed into, but that is an amazing mark. Not very far away from where Sam Walsh took Mark of the Year for Carlton against Port on this ground in the COVID season of 2020. Mackenzie's up and okay. Jess Stewart on the boundary.
And compounding it, Mitch Owens has already been subbed out during that halftime break, so they've made their medical sub with Jared Leanett coming on.
Thank you for that, Jess. So Mackenzie's hand passed off to Sinclair. He chips it to Webster. Yeah, I reckon if the best type of description, geography and courageous type, Mackenzie's trotting off. It was a bit like that Sam Walsh grab a couple of years ago.
Yeah, banged his head against the ground, so it will be looked at. Neal now from the stoppage. Handball to Daniel Rich, now into Zorko. He's got a lead, and it's McStay in the middle of the ground. Wheels around onto the left foot. He's got another lead. Hipwood finds it just forward to the centre circles. Just to the wing side. He chips it forward barely to 15 metres. Starcevic met very heavily. And that was the man who just came onto the ground in Jared Leanett, and he's immediately put into the book, methinks. It's going to be marched back 50 regardless. The umpire and a fair crowd get around Leanett too. Mitch, and guess who's there? Mitch Robinson, Jess Stewart.
I was going to say, he's just come running about 25 metres away, Mitch Robinson, like from middle of the forward to be involved in that contest.
It was a high shot, not a lot in it from a reportable point of view.
Not a lot in it. It was definitely late.
Yeah, Mitch made it look a lot better than it was. But it's going to be a march down 50-metre penalty and free kick, and it's going to be Brandon Starcevic taking it from 20 metres out directly in front to start it for Brisbane. They trail by 2 straight goals, 3 minutes into the third term. Brandon Starcevic, a couple of goals to his name this year. Predictably puts that one through, and they all get around him too. The Lions passionately get their way to Brandon Starcevic, and the Lions get a goal. 5-6-36 to the Saints, 4-6-30 the Lions, 6 points the margin. Jess Stewart's on the boundary.
He is bleeding from his nose, so he's going to have to come straight from the field. So that probably shows the contest was, high enough and harsh enough to make him bleed. But of course, as I mentioned, Mitch Robinson came from 25 metres away to get involved in that.
Plenty happening at the Gabba. Saints leading by a goal as Starcevic comes for a rest after saluting with a pumped fist. And that's another goal from a free kick. Of the 10 in the game, 8 have come from free kicks.
Great contest, this.
Yeah,
it
doesn't feel like it's been over-officiated. No. That's just a stat.
But there's just been a lot of high impact free kicks.
Yeah, I think why I'm saying that's about the aggression in the game. Yeah. They're pushing the envelope, both players, both teams. Zorko with the clearance, Danaher let out, couldn't mark for Brisbane. Coming from behind, too long. Patton had it but got tackled by Lions.
Zach Jones.
Zach Jones is giving it to opposite number 3, Joe Danaher.
So Jared, the Lions again.
This is a chance to level the scores early in this third quarter.
Just a drive-by, wasn't it? Just walked past.
Jared Lyons on a 4-step approach from 48 metres out. His kick is left and a behind, and it narrows the Saints' lead to 5 points. 5-6-36 to 4-7-31. Jess?
And Daniel McKenzie has been taken down to the rooms, obviously, for a head injury assessment. So I'll keep you posted on that one. As we mentioned, already made the medical sub, the Saints.
So Jared Leanett has been put in the game for St Kilda after Owens was taken out. Ball at half back now for the Saints. Picked up by Bailey for Brisbane, right on the boundary line. He puts it to the top of the square. Big pack of players flies. At the foot of the pack, roving McCarthy. Nice tackle from Battle, put him off his kick. One behind results. Cracking game of footy this, I love it. 36 plays, 32. 4 points the margin in favour of the Saints.
And McCarthy is down-winded after that. Now, here's Zach Jones having a bounce off the half-back flank from the quick injection. Kicks St Kilda to half-forward. First man to get a hand to it was Adams. He was held by Marshall, free kick. As McCarthy is up at the other end of the ground and moving. Free kick to Brisbane on defensive 50 at left, half-back. Marcus Adams is going to kick the Lions back towards the interchange area on the southern wing. To a pack, fisted away from it. Crouch is going to be first to arrive for St Kilda. Defensive hand pass to Billy Ray Sinclair. His kick towards the wing, turned over, marked by Zorko. His kick quickly marked by Lions. Between wing and half forward, kick towards the pocket. Oh, beautiful fly and mark to Danaher. Classic knees on the back of the backman. And he hung there and took it beautifully in front of his eyes in the left forward pocket. Highlight reel stuff from Joe Danaher. But can he kick the goal now on the tight angle from 30 metres out?
That's how you protect the space, isn't it?
Dougal Howard was the step ladder on that occasion. And now this will bring the house down, even though it's early in the third term. They've been a restless lot at the Gabba tonight. They've got the Danaher hang. Have they got the goal to put the Lions in front? Yes, they have. If you're at the Gabba and you're a little bit Queenslandy in your blood and you're feeling a bit cold coming to the footy, You ain't feeling cold now. It's a hot one here at the Brisbane Cricket Ground, and the Lions are in front by 2 points, Matt Primus and Jeff White.
There's only one hot team at the moment. This first 4 or 5 minutes, Brisbane, they've come out of those rooms at half-time. They are flying with their pressure, their intensity, their energy. 6 inside 50s to 0. They're scoring at will. They're giving the Saints no space or time without the ball. It's just a pleasure to watch this first 5 or 6 minutes. Can they sustain this, and can the Saints hit back with this centre bounce?
And we spoke about at half-time, coming into the half-time, about the inaccuracy of opposition, going inside their forward 50. Where Brisbane have put it has been in that V, and that's where they've been able to get that scoreboard pressure.
Back into the middle, immediately struck down. McCluggage gets the handball back to Neil. Neil to forward 50. Mitch Robinson coming back with the flight, and Sinclair met. Ball spills, ground level, and Rowan Marshall gets right in there for the Saints. He's covered up. There's Cam Rayner in on top of him.
It's also been centre bounce dominance. 3 centre bounces, 3 wins to Brisbane inside 50.
Yeah.
40 metres out from the Brisbane goal. Umpire will throw it up. Hipwood versus Marshall in the ruck. Roving with Zach Jones. Standing start. Goes straight up and down. Lands on the paint of 50. Mason Wood propels it forward by hand. Rove by Rich. Handball to Neil. Still in the goal, centre square. Standing start to Marcus Adams inside 50. McCarthy flies. Rove by Leanett. Handball back to Howard. Former Port teammates. Now he kicks it back inside the centre squares. Harris Andrews fists it forward. Roving there. McCluggage from 40. He hooks around towards goal. And he buries it for the Lions.
Now, this is an interesting one. There was an obvious shepherd from a Lions player not looking at the ball.
Right on the goal.
On the goal line.
Well, the umpire immediately signalled a goal, and one of the field umpires were 2 metres away, didn't say anything, so I didn't either. 44 plays 36. It's an 8-point margin to the Brisbane Lions, and Hugh McCluggage, with disposal number 20, propels them forward.
A super game. We mentioned him halfway through that second quarter, but he's just working everywhere. Inside, he's the guy that's going to get the ball on the outside and matching St Kilda's runners, and now hitting the scoreboard.
Just a handball, though, from Neil. Just love watching him in close.
What about the free kick?
The ball was further than 5 metres away.
He wasn't even
That's
looking.
the old rule,
Yes.
isn't it? Is that still the rule?
Yeah. You're right, Q. Link McCarthy did take him out without looking at the ball.
And the ball was more than 5 metres away.
But it's in the book, as my dad used to say.
Yep, okay. No, I just thought, you see that.
You can't shepherd someone going for the mark.
No, he didn't even look at the ball.
It was cross in all areas. Eyes on the opponent, 5 metres away, more than 5 metres away.
Score review going.
Score review, there we go.
Well, they can't come back for a free kick, though.
Well,
Must it, mate?
Where's that written down?
You can't. Or it might have been touched. Zach Jones has come across, and I think has touched it anyway. Hold on.
You're right.
Football Juju is going to have its say in all of this.
Football guys.
Oh, there you go. So the original kick from McCluggage was touched. So it doesn't matter about the shepherd.
Well, it's a point that they probably shouldn't have got because it should be a free kick. But I get what you're saying.
Good point.
Good point or good...
I reckon that...
This is getting confusing.
Which, am I the radio?
Got his little finger.
So, Jeff White's been watching the replay. Has he touched it?
Got his little finger.
Well, point. Yep, it's a point. No goal.
Yeah.
Crowd's mesmerised at the moment.
So, scribbling going on in scrapbooks. Scoreboard being readjusted. Brisbane 5-9-39 to St Kilda 5-6-36. Yes, correct weight.
And the crowd hasn't hung on a big screen moment since the release of Top Gun. It's a long kick towards the outer side. Big pack flies, and that's a good mark taken by Harris Andrews. Has it been played? No, in front of him it was Starcevic. Good grab, that one.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, hang on, no. Did we review that halfway through till we're travelling there? Because umpire Matt Stevick is saying, look, it's not your ball. I'm now going to give it to your opponent. Max King, what's going on there?
Can't help.
Anyway, long kick towards half forward. Big pack of players fly off their hands. Kadeen Coleman rose it for Brisbane. Tackled into the ground. Oh, big clash. Starcevic versus Jones. Jones wins. Pops up with the ball. Then gets it back in a 1-2. Releases early, though. Gives it away. Marcus Adams Coleman onto Rich.
Kicks from half back, turned over on his kick to the half forward flank. Never got to the leading Danaher. Battle takes the mark. Kicks back towards Wilkie for the switch. He moves it on to Leonard. The sub injected for the injured Owens. And Leonard has the grab for St Kilda. Just forward of defensive 50 at left half back. Kick down the line looking for Marshall. Got the drop on McInerney. Oh, the two ruckmen there, boys. He was a bit loose on his man there, Big Oscar.
Good work right there.
Marshall.
Well, isn't he, Marshall?
Yep, takes the mark. He kicks St Kilda towards half forward. Adams in the hole. Got smashed in the back by King. Free kick, made earn it though. And then Harris Andrews knocked him over afterwards.
Reversal? No.
Common sense.
Yeah.
This is like an unwatched bolognese. It's just bits of spitting out and just bubbling all over the hot plate.
And you're wearing a white shirt.
Free kick to the Lions on half back.
Harris Andrews over to Daniel Rich now. He's got Charlie Cameron at left half back, a long way down the ground. He gets around his opponent, drills a pass to Danaher. Just forward of the wing, out of side. Danaher left foot, inside 50. Hipwood with the double grabber, can't take it. At ground level, no, it's been a free kick. The double grabber included a grab of the arms to make it a triple grabber to Eric Hipwood. Free kick from the painter 50, left leg a metre from the boundary. Just Stewart's on the boundary there.
And all while that was happening, Paddy Wright has just had his finger pop back in.
Oh, nice.
So.
And then nice on a winter's night, those dislocated fingers put back in by the medical staff. Eric Hipwood, a subdued re-entry back into footy this year, 4 or 5 games back in. Let's go from right on 50. He pops it up to the top of the square. St Kilda read that best, and that's a good mark taken by Patton.
True fullback, Ben Patton, just beyond the edge of the goal square at the western end. Looks right, goes left. From the pocket now, kicks it to half back. Adams flew high, knuckles it back over the boundary line for Brisbane. And even after that contest, he pushes King over. King's pushing into Noah Answorth there and Harris Andrews. So they're ganging up on King, trying to get him off his game.
No.
And now the umpire is giving away a free kick downfield against King for making one of those little nudges too high.
Oh, crap. Sorry, did I?
That's you like to see a few of his teammates actually just going.
I was about to say.
Throw the support for him.
Anyway, Lockie Neal's got the free kick. 55 out. He kicks Brisbane back to full forward. Big pack. Off hands. Tackle made by Wood on a Brisbane player obscured by the pack. It was Bailey. No extraction. Ball up. 30 metres out from the Lions' goal. They lead it by 3 points.
And the umpire's going to throw it up 30 metres from that goal. Grabbed by Marshall. Tackled immediately. Ball spills. Patton picks it up. He's tackled by Dev Robertson and ball held. Umpire will do it all again from about 35 metres out. Matt Stevic throws it up. Danaher versus Marshall. Marshall double grabs it. Danaher tackles him while disposing of it. Didn't happen. Now Sinclair with the long sleeves on. A long kick towards the outer wing. It bounces beautifully for Max King, who attacked it. Then got the handball over the top. Will it bounce for Hill? Membry comes in to add his muscle. Gave it over to Hill. Now back to Leonard inside 50. And it's just going to miss the target in Butler. Went through his legs. It nutmegged him through the boundary line. We're going to throw in 40 metres out. Loving this game of footy, Matty Primus.
Well, great heat though from Brisbane. Saints were running and handballing, but every time they got a handball, the Brisbane were at them, putting tackle pressure on or chase pressure.
And that wasn't happening in the first half.
Boundary throw in. Saints inside attacking 50. Falls attacking side of the pack, but picked up by Zorko, who spirals Brisbane out of trouble to the middle of the ground. A kick and hope. Bounces near Cameron. Taps it. Weaves. Gathers. Lost it. No throw of the ball. Play on. Gathered by Robertson of Brisbane. Hand pass to the flank. Picked up by McCarthy, 50 out. He hand passes back infield, turned over. Leonard picks up for the Saints. Hand passes defensively to Battle in the pocket. His chip marked by Brad Hill. Sliding to his knees at left half back for St Kilda. 16 and a half third term. It's the Lions by 3 points. Kick infield on the 45 over the head of Patton. It clean bowls everyone. Picked up though by Butler of the Saints. Has two bounces to half forward. 51 metres out. Got the speed wobbles. Kick to the goal square. Higgins is there and dribbles it through to return the Saints to the lead. If you're all for quality over quantity,
Yep.
This standalone Saturday night and an abridged round 13 is living up to it. St Kilda, 6-6-42. Lead Brisbane, 5-9-39. Matt Primus and Jeff White.
Just those little things. Coleman there read it well. The kick just overcooked a little bit, but he didn't read the ground ball. You think training on this ground with the cricket pitch in the middle there, Whitey, he would have known it's either going to bounce super high or stay low, but it just completely bowled him straight through, and that had opened it up for Saints.
There's that slingshot footy from the half forwards. Butler coming through the middle. Who's on the end of it? Higgins.
Yep.
He'd already come up, way up the ground and pushed forward.
Both
just using their foot skills.
We see the beautiful ball movement and running patterns and so forth of modern footy, which has changed. This feels like one of those games. It's like, you know what? You've got to earn it with your body tonight. Yep. And that's a wonderful thing to have back in the game.
Got to love the contested footy. Back in the middle, Zach Jones doing that well. What a tackle from Rayner. He let loose the ball with one arm. There is no other result but a free kick to Cam Rayner, perfectly executed. Tackle there. The former #1 draft pick kicks inside 50. Big pack flies at the base of that pack. McCarthy lets it go for Neal. He weaves away from one, kicks it inside 50. Bailey can't take it on the first attempt. Gathers on the second, wheels around and bangs in the goal. Zach Bailey. Hot football here at the Gabba on a very chilly night. 6-6-42 St Kilda. It's the Lions back in front, 6-9-45. We played 19 minutes of the third term. ABC Sports Grandstand AFL. Exciting stuff, boys.
He's a gun. I love Zach Bailey. Just any time he gets near him, it's either a hand pass, he does something. He's score involvement, kicks a goal himself, brings all his teammates into play. It's just great. And great great balance too. Just keep his feet then.
And none of the centre bounce win wasn't a stock standard centre bounce win. Whitey, it was a free kick, but that's 4-1 this quarter for Brisbane. And every time they're going in centre bounce, inside 50 off a centre bounce, they look like scoring.
3-1 to Brisbane in this term. After it was the Saints by 12 points at half-time. Now Brisbane by 3. Ryder got first hand and second in the ruck. Taps it away. Jones through the hands of Crouch to Sinclair. High kick from the stoppage in the middle of the ground to half forward. Coleman got underneath for Brisbane. Couldn't mark. Fumbled by Adams. He follows up. He got the footy. He got tackle. Hump lets it play. Berry is tackled by Leanett, and eventually a ball up is called for at left half forward for the Saints, who are taking the school end in this term. They're 60 from goal here. Tossed in the air. Ryder just got McStay out of the way, but tapped it to Neal of Brisbane. His hand pass to Starcevic. Hand pass semi-smothered, but Berry's there to hand pass to Zorko. His kick around the boundary line just stays in. Gathered by Wilkie. Hand pass to Sinclair. They're going backwards. And they've lost it now. Hill was hassled off it by Bailey. Couldn't gather it clean himself. Long comes in to win the hard ball. Hand pass straight to Danaher, though, on half forward. Gives it to McCluggage. His chip marked by Robertson. That's of the Dev variety, 50 out. He'll kick it to the Mitch variety of Robinson. Juggle, no mark, but front on contact and a free kick to Mitch. Crouch the offender. Oh, and wait, the Gabba fans love this. If Mitch Robinson can make it a 9-point lead late in the third term. He's only played the 7 games this year. Spent some time in the VFL where he's been averaging 30 possessions a game in those 3 VFL games. But a favourite of the crowd, a barometer of this team. And on a night where the pressure is high, Mitch Robinson has a chance to give the Lions a kick and a half lead. 21 and a half into the third term. He strikes from footy and kicks the goal. There's some life in the Gabba tonight. The Lions 7-9-51 to the Saints 6-6-42. A returning goal for Mitch Robinson back in the seniors, just short on the boundary.
Q, I'm not sure exactly what time it was that Daniel McKenzie was injured and then went off for the HIA. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries happening at the time, but it has been, I think, about 15 minutes, and unfortunately he has not emerged from downstairs in the rooms. The Saints still have 3 players on the bench. The doc has just come up and done a head shake, so perhaps not a good sign. They might be down for the rest of the match with 3 on the bench. I will find out more information, but perhaps not a good sign for the Saints as well.
Absolutely. When you consider young Matt Owens is out of the game, he was replaced by the medical sub in Jared Leanett earlier on after he got a head knock late in the second quarter, so they could be down 1, the Saints, and the Lions are pressing at the minute as they try to extract this one, Brisbane. It's not happening as Crouch.
And their style of play, Pricey, they need runners, and if they're going to be down a couple, that will impact how they want to play.
And Crouch gets involved again, as does Zach Jones in this ruck contest. And again, it's stuck underneath the ruckman in Ryder and McStay. This time, Ryder gets it away from the pack. It's taken by Neil, and he's immediately taken by Crouch again. Number 5 tackler in the AFL, as I say. Brad Crouch got a goal from it earlier on. This clearance comes from the foot of McInerney. It goes out wider. That's a free kick. Kicks and kilda every day of the week. It's going to be Higgins again, who was taken high by Zorko in the battle of the little guys. The battle of the little guys with a little bit of angst as well. I don't mind that, Q.
Higgins from the centre of the ground kicks to full forward. Marshall out positions by Adams, who got to the front, spoiled away, won the footy, got tackled, but gave the hand pass to Berry. Slick hands to Answorth, to Starcevic, all under pressure. Starcevic got a push in the back pocket.
Zorko's coming off after that incident. So
he is limping, Dane Zorko. And we know he's had the Achilles issues of the pre-season.
He's running like the Cliffy Young shuffle there too, just quietly.
We'll get to Jess in a moment as Starcevic kicks it back to Rich. Yeah, we'll go down to Jess because the Lions are all the way at full back. Jess?
Yeah, he's been clutching that hamstring as he's come straight to the bench. Left hamstring, so the physios are having a look at that right now.
Well, cold night and not the best night to do it on either. Here's Deb Robertson now at left half back for Brisbane. Handball to Darcy Gardner. It's a long kick in the Danaher direction. Cutting in front though. Well done, Neil, who read it best. He wants to go back into the corridor. He was looking for McLuggage. It was a great spoil coming from Leanett, but roving Starcevic hits the centre circles. Now McLuggage. The run of Answorth from the edge of the centre square to the goal square and going back and marking beautifully is Tim Membry, way back in defence, Matty Primus.
Just keep an eye on too. I've just seen Zach Jones just came off clutching his hamstring after the last spread from the centre bounce too, so there might be another one down for the Saints.
Membry kicks to a pack at half back, roved by Answorth at Brisbane, gave to Adams, kick inside 50, marked by the diving Sinclair of the Saints coming forward. 9 points the lead to Brisbane. Storylines left, right and centre here. Sinclair's kick, not great on the head of Gresham, spoiled by Rich. Gresham goes back in to get it. He's wrapped up though, ball spills free. And it's holding the ball. It's holding the ball. It's going to be a free kick to Brisbane. And it's going to be Eric Hipwood's ball. Oh, here's a big moment. Because they love a set shot from Eric here at the Gabba. And he'll be having a go from 45 metres out. Slightly right of centre. As we see on the big screen, ice being applied to the left hamstring of Dane Zorko. But Eric Hipwood, just 2 goals so far in his 4 games played. This is his 5th game on return from an ACL against this club at Carrara last time they met. Hipwood to 48, left foot strike is left all the way and a behind. 10 points the lead to Brisbane. Back to Jess on the boundary.
Zach Jones went straight down to the room, so the Saints now down to 2 on the bench. We'll keep you posted on that one, but not a good sign he's gone straight down to the rooms.
So Matt Owens out of the game, replaced by Jared Leanett, and McKenzie out of the game with a head knock, and perhaps Zach Jones. So they're running out of running numbers, the Saints. Tim Membry has it inside defensive 50 now. He's going to go long down the commentary wing. Darcy Gardner edged his way in front. Well done by Marshall to get rid of him at ground level. Butler, beautiful bit of pace. The left foot is exquisite into the path of Higgins. He gathers. He's immediately tackled by Answorth and thrown into the ground. Ball spills. Rich, handball now to Jared Lyons. It's going to come back now to Marcus Adams. Off the foot of Lockneil. Adams can't control it. Saints with a chance. Crouch back inside 50. At ground level, there's still a chance with Butler. He's tackled. Ball stuck underneath him. Crowd want ball. It spills out. Gresham. Handball now to Higgins. Hooks it back around. Great vision. It's missed by Hill, though. Chance for Brisbane to extract this out. Link McCarthy, who's down in defence, kicks it back inside the centre squares. Saints repel, though. It's now coming back through Leanett. Oh, what a smother from Jared Lyons. It rebounds onto the commentary wing.
Windhager overran it, picked up by Hipwood of Brisbane, hand pass to McCluggage from the logo, half volleyed by the leading McStay, hands it to Hipwood, Ross got him straight away, hand pass turned over, Saints ball, Hill hands to Sinclair, hands to Ross, runs the bullseye, big moment this in a frenetic passage, Ross hand passes to Crouch, a calm moment to slot the pass to the leading Higgins Gresham on 50, Gresham plays on, slaps it with his right boot straight through the middle. Four points to diff. Brisbane still in front. Second goal of the night to Jade Gresham. That was an uppercut followed by a jab, followed by a hook, followed by an uppercut. Blows traded. Gresham with the telling one. Brisbane 7-10-52, St Kilda 7-6-48. Jess Stewart working overtime in this busy third term.
The Dane Zorko sub has officially been made. Darcy Fort has the jersey on and is warmed up. He will be activated as soon as the interchange is ready to go. Zach Jones, still no sign of him. So obviously the Saints, as I mentioned, down to 2 on the bench at the moment.
Wow, attritional game here, boys. It's been a physical contest.
It has. There's no space there. As Q called it brilliantly there. Both teams couldn't go inside 50. It was just between the arcs. Bounce, 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 bounce. Then eventually a bit of class from Saints.
So back into the middle. So Lions by 4 points late in the third quarter. They extract this one by foot. It's going to be cut off by Leanett for St Kilda though. He kicks a long bomb back inside 50. Reading it best and coming out, hitting it with his chest. Max King right on the paint of 50 in front of Harris Andrews.
Must say, Leanett off the wing has been outstanding. Has come on as a sub many times. And 1%ers tonight have been really, really good from the Saints. You know, getting a hand in, the smothers. He's been really good since he's come on.
So Max King, he's got the couple this evening. From right on 50. He gets onto it, but it floats away to the right. One behind, 52 plays 49. 3-point margin in favour of the Lions late in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
The atmosphere almost feels like it's the last quarter. Got another half hour of this, fantastic. Neil in the left back pocket for Brisbane. Hands it to Starcevic, his chip back to full back for Rich. So no long inbound there from Brisbane. They elect to control it in their D50. Rich chips it to the right back pocket, marked by Adams. Here's the kick down the line, and they've worked it well. McStay marks in space. Kick in field on the 45. McCluggage fumbles at his ankles, but then calmly hands it over his left shoulder. Beautiful handball to Berry. His kick marked by Hipwood. 70 out. He rolls onto his left. Not a great kick from Hipwood. Robinson, though, dives desperately to mark at 55 from goal. He kicks into the corridor to Berry. Nice late arriving ball from Battle. Turned over. Saints have got the ball. Costly fumble there, though, from Windhager. It got to the hands of Sinclair for the Saints. Desperate kick to the wing. It's going to come back, though. It's picked up by Answorth of Brisbane. Chip pass is marked by Coleman. And Coleman is just going to hold it up for a moment between wing and left half forward. Kicks the Lions back into attack in the pocket. Danaher the target, 2 to beat, knocked it away from him. Coming through, Hipwood had it, got a hand pass to Cameron, his little kick in field, stolen by Crouch of the Saints, kicks to fullback, Leanett marks, and the Saints a chance to clear.
They've got a couple clear here, Membry and Gresham. Gresham's the target, Membry kept running, receives the handball. He's got an open field in front of him, hits the commentary wing with a handball, it's to Hill, controls it now, to the run of Seb Ross, on the left foot, Higgins takes the mark, 40 metres out, it's a heavy angle to the left, so he's 10 metres to the boundary line on the left, but Jack Higgins will go back and have a ping for St Kilda.
That slingshot footy is just outstanding.
Hill and Ross, they're running their 45 to link up was unbelievable.
Another huge name getting treated on the bench, Jess.
Yeah, Darcy Gardner getting treatment. He came from the field ginger before as well, so he's also getting some work at the moment.
So Darcy Fort has been enacted the medical sub for Dane Zorko off. Now Higgins comes in, it slews off the right side of his boot towards the top of the square. Off hands, rove by Mitch Robinson. Too scungy to allow a behind. And then too generous and kick the ball back down Jack Higgins' nanny goat right on the 50. So Higgins will have take 2.
From 10 metres further away.
Oh, he's got a man in the pocket. This Leanett is just waiting for him. But Higgins wants to play on. Right from 50, goes to the top of the square. Big pack and big punch from Marcus Adams. Put it 20 metres forward. Danaher approaches the ball. It didn't go with it. Hooked around the corner from Battle. Top of the square, off hands. A bit of volleyball as the siren sounds. What an epic battle this has been so far here at the Gabba. At three-quarter time, 7:10:52, the Brisbane Lions play the Saints. 7-7-49. It is the Lions by 3 points after they trailed by 12 points at half-time, and they led by 3 points at quarter-time. 3 points the margin here at three-quarter time.
So the 7 goals for Brisbane. Joe Danaher has 2 of them. The others to Mitch Robinson, Lincoln McCarthy, Charlie Cameron, Zach Bailey and Brandon Starcevich. For St Kilda, 2 goals to Jade Gresham, 2 goals to Max King, singles to Brad Crouch, Jack Higgins and Daniel McKenzie. In that term, Brisbane lost skipper Dane Zorko with a left hamstring injury. Jess, just before we go to our three-quarter time commitments, what's the latest you can see with Darcy Gardner receiving treatment near the interchange?
He's gone down to the rooms, so that's all we know. He came off, he walked off, so he couldn't actually even run off the field, but we're not sure what it actually is he was getting treated for. It looked like something abdomen around the stomach, so maybe something still lingering from that big collision he had last week and he was subbed out for. Yeah, he had the rib injury. And now just remind us, the Mitch Owens injury, for him to be subbed out? Well, he went down for an HIA, that's so right. Assuming he failed that. And then also we had Daniel McKenzie goes down for the HIA after his heavy collision, and he has not since returned up to the ground after that, and still no sign of Zach Jones as well. And that was a softie, wasn't it? Soft tissue injury? I believe it was. He came off very quickly as all this was unfolding and went straight down to the rooms.
He clutched his hamstring out of the centre bounce and then tried to get forward and then signalled to the physio and then went straight off, so it looked like a hammy to me. Plenty of news, plenty of entertainment. If you're not enjoying this one, don't tune in ever again, because you're not going. It doesn't get much better than this. Don't change the dial. Exactly. It's been terrific stuff. It's Brisbane 7-10-52 to St Kilda 7-7-49. It was the Lions by 3 points at quarter time. The Saints by 2 goals at half time, and in that quarter, Brisbane kicking 4 goals 4 to the Saints 2 goals 1. 3 the lead to Brisbane, three-quarter time, all happening at the Gabba on Grandstand AFL. Don't go anywhere, the final term coming up.
ABC, your trusted source of accurate and timely emergency information.
We've had the ABC on basically all afternoon listening.
There's so much going on. Getting news is a priority.
Well, I'm a fan of the ABC.
It must be love, love, love.
I listen to the ABC every day. I'm extremely grateful.
ABC Radio, reliable source for information.
On radio, on the ABC Listen app and the ABC Emergency website.
It must be love, love, love.
ABC, stay connected.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Between wing and half forward, kick towards the pocket. Oh, beautiful fly and mark to Danaher. Classic knees on the back of the backman. And he hung there and took it beautifully in front of his eyes in the left forward pocket. They've got the Danaher hang. Have they got the goal to put the Lions in front? Yes, they have. Picked up though by Butler of the Saints. Has 2 bounces to half forward. 51 metres out, got the speed wobbles. Kick to the goal square, Higgins is there. And dribbles it through to return the Saints to the lead. If you're all for quality over quantity, this standalone Saturday night on a bridge round 13 is living up to it.
At the base of that pack, McCarthy lets it go for Neil. He weaves away from one, kicks it inside 50. Bailey can't take it on the first attempt. Gathers on the second, wheels around and bangs in the goal. Zach Bailey. Hot football here at the Gabba on a very chilly night.
Ross hand passes to Crouch. A calm moment to slot the pass to the leading Higgins on. No, Gresham on 50. Gresham plays on. Slaps it with his right foot straight through the middle. 4 points to dip. Brisbane still in front.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
The Gabba is humming. It's Brisbane by 3 points at three-quarter time. The Lions 7-10 over the Saints 7-7. Quickly around the grounds in the other sport this evening. Crosstown, the Brisbane Broncos have defeated the Canberra Raiders in the third game of this Saturday of the National Rugby League. Broncos 24 over the Raiders 18 to join the Storm and Rabbitohs as winners earlier on today. Jeff White and Matt Primus, so many storylines, but let's get to the winning and the losing of the game first and foremost. What's at the top of your mind, apart from how good is this?
Yeah, how good is this? Well, just the dominance of Brisbane's. All the stats really stayed the same, except for inside 50s. 18-9 to Brizzy, and they kicked 4 goals forward to 2 goals won that quarter. So they just dominated territory, and the Saints could not get their run and stun handball game going, and they fought back a little bit towards the last couple of minutes there. But, geez, if Brisbane can keep that intensity around the ball and dominance at centre bounce, I don't see with the injuries that the Saints have how they're going to create enough run. They're going to have to absolutely dominate Brisbane around the ball to get it inside 50 so they don't have to do all that running.
Yeah, well, it comes really pivotal now with those. They've got no interchange, no rotations, nothing at all.
Yep.
So this is where this 13 days we're talking about, Q, where they've had the rest. Now this is where this is gonna come into play. Brisbane have come back from 6-day turnaround from WA.
Yep.
Let's see what the Saints have got in the tank, and that's what comes to my mind is, the ability to have that slingshot footy. We've seen it with Butler and Higgins connecting really, really well. I mean, they're the sort of ones that are keeping it afloat at the moment. You see, Membry's gone back a few times as well. But yeah, it's going to take an enormous amount of work rate this quarter.
The ball's going to have to live down the Saints' end for him to win.
Oh yeah,
and that hasn't happened so far this game.
Neils had 29, Rich 24, McCluggage 24, leading individually for Brisbane. Sinclair 25, Ross 19 and Gresham 18. Brisbane 26 more disposals overall. The clearances +3 to the Lions. The inside 50s, Brisbane +11. Tackles as well. Saints by 5 there. It's a tight one. 3 points that if final term underway.
Umpire Matt Stevic bangs it into the Gabba turf. It's propelled forward by Brisbane. Handball, Danaher. And then McCarthy explodes onto the ball. Chips it to the goal square. Beautifully read by the Saints defence. It's well done by Battle there. Good mark. He chips it forward now. Hill. Back to Battle. It's going to be a long kick towards the wing. Membry battling against McStay. Comes off, hands off Crouch. Now back to Membry. Gives it to Mason Wood. A floating right foot kick misses the target in Max King. Harris Andrews takes it and repels.
Shares it with McCluggage in the middle of the ground. Chip to the sub-fort. Mark 70 from goal. Hand pass to Neil. Leading Cameron on the end of the kick. Got a grab, couldn't mark. Then does the ankle breaking moves, having got the ball. Kicks it back to full forward. Wood there for the defensive fist of the Saints, punching it over the goal line for a point.
Good defensive follow-up there from Wood. He was the one to turn it over on the wing here. So
Brisbane 7-11, St Kilda 7-7.
4 points the margin now. Lions lead at early doors, final term here at the Gabba. Oh, it's an awful kick turned over from the Saints. It's a chance for Brisbane. Handball from Cameron to Rayner. Rayner to Lions, 20 out. He curls it around. He didn't get enough on it. It's going to bounce through for a behind. Big opportunity wasted for the Lions. 54 plays 49, back to a 5-point margin, and just Stewart's on the boundary.
So just confirming, the Saints are down to 2 on the bench, and the Lions have 3 at the moment because that sub was made for Dane Zorko, and Darcy Gardner is still down in the rooms for what injury at the moment we're still unsure, but he is still being treated for that.
Battle runs to the pocket, kicks long to half back. King presents in the pack, couldn't mark, follows up. Rayner, though, makes a strong tackle. No prior ball up.
The King's still got some filling out to do, Whitey, but he's already so strong against, like Harris Andrews. Imagine what he's going to be like in 3 or 4 years' time.
Scary.
Yeah.
Umpire taking a moment to clear the zone as he throws it in the air. McInerney and Marshall battle, roved by Crouch of St Kilda. Grubbing ball towards the wing. Long is there for the Saints, under pressure from Starcevic, sees it out. So it's quite the casualty ward. Zorko with a hamstring. Gardner with a to be decided. Jones off with a soft tissue injury. McKenzie out with an injury as well. Owens with the HIA. Throw in on the wing. McCluggage roves for Brisbane at the coalface. Hand pass to Starcevic. Kick to half forward. Oh, Hill got to the drop. Couldn't mark. Roved by Cameron of Brisbane. Hands it to Lyons. Hand pass infield gathered by McCluggage. Runs to 50. McCluggage goes deep. And the right foot drop punt puts Brisbane 11 points in front. Hugh McCluggage with his first goal of the night, and in a tight game, a telling moment. 8 goals, 12-60, lead 7-7, 49.
Best on ground he has been tonight without going too early, but he won that stoppage, handballed it out to the winger and then pushed forward and kicked that goal. Just outstanding work rate.
Well, now there's more movement. Cam Rayner's being ordered from the field by an umpire. Jess?
Blood rule.
Can you see anything? I think it's just...
yeah, he's got a little bit of blood coming from the back of his head, it looks like. Ear or head, yeah. It's a bit hard to see, so it's not much, but it's a little bit there. And Darcy Gardner's just come back up to the top of the room, top to the interchange, so that's a good sign.
Okay, so we're back to the middle now. The Saints with it all to do. They're short in numbers on the bench and short on the scoreboard by 11 points at the moment. On the outer wing now, Leanett, who was the late injection for them. Oh, tackled beautifully by Berry. Into the ground, over the boundary line, right in front of the benches. There will be a throw in. It's been that kind of game, just physical. Jared Leanett came into the game after young Owens was taken out with a concussion protocol. Then Mackenzie with the same. Zach Jones with a soft tissue, so they're too short on the bench. The Saints, they're fighting it out though. Jared Lyons has it, and he's tackled into the logo on the Stanley Street side of the ground by Jake Gresham. We'll do it all again. Paddy Ryder now gets into front position. Leanett, very active since he came in. He's turned that one over though, McCluggage. Sweeping handball, Lyons, then Neal to right half forward. Dev Robertson into Danaher territory at the back. Saints with a couple of numbers. Mason Wood gives it to Hill by hand, being chased out by Bailey, but Hill delivers a beautiful kick. Oh no, Membry's dropped it. Mason Wood comes in to give him a hand. Membry goes back in. Handball now to Hill. Hill tackled. 60 from his own goal, holding the ball. Charlie Cameron, great tackle, but good pressure from Brisbane as Saints tried to extract that ball. Charlie Cameron is at left half forward, 55 from goal. Just looking for targets. Sees the lead of Hipwood, puts it in that direction. It's a big spoil, and Sinclair, or Billy Ray Sinclair, as you've dubbed in Q, has the ball.
With the mullet flowing, kicks to the wing on the head of Wood, spoiled away by McStay, boundary throw in.
Since half time, that's where their behind pressure from Brisbane has been so important. Saw it there with Cameron, just the ability to press up and not feel like they're out of the play.
Comments from former #1 draft pick Jeff White on grandstand AFL, throw in on the members wing. Ryder got to the front for the Saints. Not a real clearing kick. Crouch picked up, gave to Ross. Ham passes turned over. Neal stole it for Brisbane. Gave to McCluggage. Running from 55. His kick is going to be intercepted by Wilkie, who marks on the goal line at full-back for the Saints. No one near him, so he can have a bounce and jaunt to the half back pocket, should I say. A chip pass marked by Leanett, and he's still inside defensive 50. He looks wider now, goes more corridor, good kick. Marked by Ryder, just forward of right half back. No one really in front of him now. Long presents, good lead. Long marks, hand pass to Hill, 70 out. Hill's kick wide to the left half forward flank. Sets a task of Butler. Butler's got it. Berry's got him. Another big tackle from Jared Berry. And he's not rewarded again either. The ball up. Well, the reward is it's a neutral. We just saw another replay of the tackle he effected on Leanett a moment ago on the big screen. 2 big tackles from the hard nut from Ballarat.
Berry by name, Berry by nature. Ball up, slapped backwards now. St Kilda with a chance, but Darcy Ford picks it up. Gets it to his big toe, and speaking of which, McInerney picks it up. Handball, scrubby one, went to Hipwood. He's turned it over though, and the umpire's pulled out a free kick. The reason why he turned it over is because he threw it, said the umpire. So Sinclair has it for St Kilda. Great pass, chiseled it into the lead of Membry. Hit him on the chest, so he'll have a shot from 55 out, and he's traditionally a good kick, but he's too far out. Puts it into the pocket, looking for King as a massive pack of players. St Kilda player could have been taken high at ground level. Butler picks it up, hooks it around. Goal Saints. His first, and puts them with 5 points again. 8-12-60, plays 8-7-55. We've played 7 minutes of the final term on grandstand AFL. Jess Stewart's on the boundary.
Saints have more problems. Mason Wood has now come to the bench and is getting attention by the doctors. So that means they're down to 1 active rotation.
Bring your boots. I know that you're.
I'm ready.
You've got red, white, and black at heart. It's the same colours as your Morningside pants as the Saints.
Yeah.
You might have to go and
I've got my boots on, but not my footy boots on.
You need some of your family's Morningside colours to go out there and play for the Saints, Jess. Oh,
geez, if the Saints get up, this will be one of the
It's a brave, isn't it? Yeah.
gutsiest wins under Brad Ratton have had.
Yeah, Wood just clutched his knee just here in front of us.
Saw that. Yeah.
5 points to diff. Centre bounce. Crouch
Right.
with the extraction. Hand pass to Ross. Hands it to Marshall. Now the kick from the Bullseyes. A floater towards half forward. Membry's under it and marks it. A kick and a half from goal. Membry is going to chip conservatively to Leonard, who flanked around to the right half forward flank. Took the mark. Kicks to full forward. Big fist towards the goals by Berry. Doesn't go through. It hit the behind post just as Kadeen Coleman was cruising away, speaking of Morningside. And it's going to be thrown in the left forward pocket for the Saints, who trail it by 5 points.
He's Berry's work rate then from the wing to get back and spoil that ball to make sure King didn't mark it was outstanding.
The throw-in is right beside the point post. The big ruckmen go at it and both miss it. Lands at their feet. Butler picks it up for St Kilda. Got the handball away, but under a lot of pressure, so Ainsworth has it for Brisbane. He gets it back to Berry. Under enormous pressure, he hooks it around his body, but only into the path of Max King. Standing there, the 6'6" big fella.
That's just that behind pressure. It's just the ability to actually force them to go to the boundary, but to actually force them to kick it. That 1%ers, they've been doing that all night, the Saints.
And holding the ball inside their forward 50 is
yeah.
the way to win, to stop them having to run so much.
2 goals, 2 for the night for Max King from about 40 metres, slide angle to the left. He comes in and he's pushed it to the right. Big chance missed there for the Saints. 60 plays 56. 4 points the margin, 10 gone, final term.
Quick inbound is short. It's marked by Ainsworth, still in the right back pocket for Brisbane. He switches it out to Andrews, who's got space forward of the left back pocket, but doesn't roll on quickly. Marshall's run hard to try and stop the down the line kick, so Andrews has to go short to Starcevic. They're still inside defensive 50. Starcevic back infield to Ainsworth, now to centre half back. 4 kicks to get to centre half back, marked by McStay. He rolls on now, chips it to the wing. Jared Berry marks just shy of the wing, plays on with a hand pass to Lyons. Lyons chips it to McInerney, marks 2 kicks from goals at half forward. Hand pass back to Lyons, kick is good to McCluggage, 50 out. Transfer now comes unstuck to the pocket. The kick from McCluggage was poor. Picked up by Webster of St Kilda. His hand pass turned over. Berry hand passes to Bailey. Ice in his veins, this man. His kick on goal is punched through for a point, though, by the desperate diving Wilkie.
I like that moving though, Q. The kick, changing the angles, pulls apart a tired St Kilda defence, even though they didn't get a shot on goal there. Oh, sorry, they didn't get an easy shot on goal. It pulled apart their tired St Kilda players.
Brisbane by 5 points, 18-13, 61 to 88-56.
Oh, St Kilda's extracting kick was beautifully marked there by Jared Berry, who's having some kind of 20 minutes.
He's lifted in this quarter, hasn't he?
Certainly has. Probably one of his better games of the year last week, and 70 metres out at right half forward. He's against the boundary line and he's just waiting for options to appear. Now he pops it up to the top of the square. Danaher flies, so does Dougal Howard. He got a big fist of it right over the boundary line. Will be a throw in about 20 metres out in the right forward pocket for Brisbane, leading by 5 points. 12 minutes gone to the final term.
Tight old seesawing affair. Biggest lead that either team has had is a 12-point lead that the Saints had at half-time. Boundary throw in, flipped out the back by McInerney, rode by Rayner. His high left foot kick is going right to the goal line and has gone all the way through for a left foot snapshotted review. There was a flying attempt at touch there from, was it Howard or Battle? I think they were both there. So now we go to Noah and the arc.
Review underway.
Howard was closest. Goal lump had a fantastic view of it. And it's definitely hit the hand of Howard, but was the ball over the line? He sort of missed it with his hand and then it sort of hit his under part of his forearm. But where was that compared to the goal line?
Surely they've got a side on, have they?
No, I don't think they do here.
No.
What was the soft call? Was it?
Yeah,
called
I missed
soft
that
goal,
among
or?
everything.
I don't think he. I didn't see him call anything.
Well, all the players are set up for a Saints kick in.
Yeah.
So perhaps the soft call was behind. Cam Rayner again injecting himself at the coalface in an important period. So if this is a goal, it's 11 points the diff. It's a point. It's a kick the diff.
There's no evidence to suggest he's even touched that.
You can see it move though.
It might have grazed.
Certainly, yeah.
It hit the under part of his
Review
foot.
complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball deviate as it passes the St Kilda defender's arm.
That's a fair call.
Before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on scoreboard.
Rush behind to Brisbane. 1 goal the difference. Lions 8-14. Saints 8-8.
Size view.
And we've got 12 minutes of footy left in this one, plus time on.
Oh, as the pantomime villain of the score review gets the boo at the Gabba. St Kilda through Webster, go out to the outer wing. Good mark taken by Paddy Ryder. What strength on the point of the centre square at left half back. He's got to run it, looks for him and finds the youngster in Windhager. He goes out further wide. Mason Wood, who's recovered. And one of the few Saints players who went to the bench and came back. He goes back to Windhager on the logo on the outer side. The Lions have set up beautifully in front of them. 1 straight goal the difference. The Saints play on now through Windhager. It's a long kick towards 50. Oh, big fly from King. Couldn't quite take the mark. Roving it there. Noah Answorth, he dribbles it forward. McCluggage best on ground for mine. Weaves some magic kicks towards Charlie Cameron. Good spoil, Jimmy Webster over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in out of side.
And among the throng was Darcy Gardner throwing himself back into a contest there as well. So that's good news for Brisbane fans after he spent a bit of time off being assessed. Grandstand AFL on ABC Sport. A ripping night at the Gabba. A goal that if the locals in front. Throwing on the outer side, McInerney roves. His kick not all that creative for his team. Sinclair gathers for the Saints, got tackled, got a hand pass away though. Ends up to Webster, who received the hand pass from Crouch. Kick to the wing, King got a hand, couldn't mark. And then McCluggage is absolutely monstered by Paddy Ryder. High contact, they say. I just thought that was big brute on Little Warrior.
I think it was just high energy contact myself.
Free kick goes to McCluggage. On the outer wing, kicks Brisbane back towards half forward. McInerney too tall for Sinclair. Takes the mark, the big O. 50 out, this is probably just beyond him. He's not going for goal. He chips it wide and Lockie Neal. Well, this is not beyond him, but it is at the upper echelon of Australian football skill, of which Lachlan Neal is a member of the populace.
Yes.
It's 5 in from the boundary at right half forward. And 45 from goals, the man on the mark. Lock Neal, 50 metres out. His kick's going right to the goal line. And Danaher roves out the back and kicks a goal.
It's a Joe the Goose.
Everyone fell over, except him.
It doubles Brisbane's lead. It's a 12-point margin for the locals. Brisbane 9-14-68 to St Kilda's 8-8-56. And Jeff White, line of the night. It was a Joey the Goose out the back for Danaher. 26,610 to see it.
He just stood there and it was, I was the only left one standing. Only one there and just dribbled it in for goal.
You know what the better play was, Whitey? Oscar McInerney once. Ryder gave away the free kick. He pushed forward. Smart ruckman.
Yep.
Reading the cue. Got the mark over to Lockie Neal and a result. So.
That's right. Exactly. Yep. Took off and Paddy Ryder was still stuck on the mark. Always used to say, get off the mark. Leave it to the little fella. You get down back.
So Joe Danaher on his return. 3 goals, 2. 9-14-68 the Lions. 8-8-56 the Saints.
Equals the game high. It's only been 2 goals max either way. This is Brisbane's biggest lead in the game.
And it's a very, very brave performance by St Kilda with a couple short on the bench. Lions with the clearance here though. And Rayner, with his head wrapped in bandages. The big don't argue as he runs through and turns the handball over though. He turned it over, went back and got it. Got the tackle on, holding the ball. If you've got to mess something up, go and fix it. Cam Rayner.
Well done. Lyons will get a free kick, 45 out. Jared Lyons will be rewarded the free kick. He joined forces with Rayner. Umpire says everybody else clear out. Jared Lyons will have a shot from directly in front, but from right on 50.
He'll take his best kick.
Yeah. Geez, they've lifted their intensity, haven't they? Brisbane?
Yep.
You'll be looking short. The tackling number's 48 to 47. It's an even stat. But Jared Lyons on the edge of his powers. From 45, he's pulled it to the left. One behind, 69 plays 56, could be an important point. 13 points the margin, 18 and a half gone, final turn.
So that is the biggest lead in the game for either team. Still got 9 minutes of playing time left in the game. As Howard runs beyond the goal mouth with the injection, long ball to the left half back flank. There's a pack of players off hands out of play. It will be thrown in. Quentin Hull and Michael Price calling the action with Matt Primus and Jeff White. The ever busy Jess Stewart down on the boundary. On Grandstand, AFL through ABC Sport. Brisbane 9:15:69 to St Kilda's 8:56. On a cool night at the Gabba, shot of Darcy Gardner back on the bench for Brisbane. Fort, the sub, taps down from the boundary, throw in but rode by Sinclair of the Saints. Kick to the wing, off hands. Rich is the first to meet it for Brisbane. Kicked back from whence it came. The right half forward flank for Brisbane, which is left half back for the Saints. Now there's a whistle on play there. It's going to be a Brisbane free kick to Zach Bailey, who got manhandled in that contest. Bailey chips it very short to Jared Lyons, 55 from goal. Don't think he's got it in him from there. So Lyons kicks it to the pocket. Marked by McCarthy. Lincoln McCarthy, hard in the boundary in the right forward pocket. Leaping link, not quite on the back of someone's head as he has done throughout his career. But he reached his tired limbs above that tired body and clutched the Sherrin first time. This would seal it, you'd think. Looking for the left-footed snapshot from 20 metres out. That's a pretty average attempt. Lucky to get there for a point near side. 14 points to diff. Still a heartbeat for the Saints. Quick injection. Ross runs through the centre of the ground and chips it to the half-back flank and finds Windhager.
Windhager plays on. Tries to spear a pass to the leader. Butler finds him. It's battling the way through now. Kick forward to centre half forward. It's a big pack. King spoiled by Harris Andrews. At ground level, Membry enters the fray. Taps it forward. Now Leanett brings it out towards the wing. Brad Hill. He's got Sinclair running. And Membry ran for him, but he went long to the pack. Off hands, Jared Lyons. He gathers. He's tackled immediately, holding the ball. That's a really good tackle from Tim Membry. And he'll probably have a shot, should have a shot from about 40 metres out, but he's in a tight angle to the right, only a few metres with the boundary line to his right leg.
Not sure on Sinclair's numbers, but he's been impressive. First time I've seen him live tonight.
Yeah, he's been great. 30. Yeah.
No, he really controls things. 30 disposals. He's got the one clearance as well. But Tim Membry played the one game with the Sydney Swans to start his career, the rest of it with St Kilda. He's had 19 touches tonight. Hasn't bothered the scorers as yet. From 40s, put that one right across the face. It'll land in the pocket, off hands. There's a chance for Saints. It's picked up by Mitch Robinson though, and he wobbles that's a mongrel torpedo straight up the guts of the Gabba, and it's marked in the centre circles by Dougal Howard.
And he kicks it straight down the corridor back to full forward. Berry at the front. Leaps and marks for Brisbane. He has been outstanding in a time of need in this last quarter for the Lions. And Berry now plays on from the right back pocket, kicks it long towards right half back. Couple of Lions there. Rayner takes the mark. Gets up with his head bandaged and taking a moment or two. 6 minutes of playing time left. 14 points to lead to Brisbane. As Rayner chips it, turns it over. Looking for Neal on the wing. Didn't get there. Long takes the mark for the Saints. He just tumbles a mongrel kick back towards the half forward flank. Out in front of King. Boundary throw in.
I was just going to say that the Lions are just really controlling the game. And besides that turnover from Rayner, they're really they're just sucking the energy out of St Kilda at the moment.
They've had 56 inside, 50s to 40, the Lions, so they've had that numerical advantage. Throw in across the half-forward line, though. Fort got it down to Neil. He's turned the handball over, so the Saints with a chance now. Crouch goes back to Ross. Ross now inside 50, under pressure. It bounces away. Oh, there's been a free kick, and it's going to go to Daniel Rich. He was taken out in that marking contest unfairly by Ben Long, so he'll take the free kick and relieve the pressure for Brisbane. They're leading by 14 points with 23 gone to the final term on Grandstand AFL.
Booms a left foot drop punt to the southern wing. And McInerney got to the front to take the mark in the tangle of the 2-on-2 big men. The Big O's found the mark. And Brisbane certainly now just trying to possess the ball a little and slow it down, leading by 14 points. A high ball to half forward. Fisted away by Wilkie of St Kilda. Arriving there front and centre is Neil of Brisbane. Hand pass for Jared Berry. Tackled off it by Crouch. Saints ball momentarily. Membry had it. Got tackled by Coleman. Illegal disposal. Kitty Coleman gets the free kick for Brisbane. Looking for the knockout blow. The kick goes to McStay. Game 150. Daniel McStay on his left. Has missed it to the left. Oh, that's about a fourth count of 8 that the Saints have survived. In this final term, 15 points the lead to Brisbane.
2 goals, 7 to Brisbane. They just can't land that knockout blow, Q, as Ben Long kicks it back towards the middle of the ground. Ainsworth misses it. Gresham leads the way. Oh, well done, Adams, who put his body in just to distract matters for the moment. Picked up by Paddy Ryder, double team tackled, gone. Absolutely gone. Well done, Jared Berry. Boy, he's had a good last quarter, Jared Berry.
Jeez, they've really nailed their tackles this quarter, haven't they, Brisbane?
Yeah, there's physical pressure now. So Dev Robertson gets it out to just beyond the wing on the outer side, and McCarthy takes the mark, slows it down and puts it back towards the logo. Jared Lyons now. He goes back towards the boundary line, and there is Hugh McLuggage for disposal number 33. Not his best effort. It actually clean bowled Link McCarthy and went over the boundary line at right half forward for a throw-in.
You can really tell the rotations, the lack of rotations for St Kilda has really zapped them this quarter.
Yep.
Their intensity's dropped off.
Yep.
Certainly, no disrespect to Brisbane, their intensity, their tackling pressure has been outstanding, but just their work rate has just really dropped off from the Saints.
3 goals required in 3.5 minutes for the Saints. Brisbane need to hold on for another 3.5 to bounce back from their loss in the West. Boundary throw in, going to be a Brisbane free kick. I think Marshall was trying to get away from that tackle from Lockie Neal, who's been given the free kick. 55 out. Neal kicks it to the pocket. McInerney juggled, couldn't mark. Ball on the ground. Wilkie tumbles, gathers for the Saints. Jumped on by Fortno Pryor, I don't think. No, it comes out. Lets them play. Patton had a go, got tackled. Cameron's in there for Brisbane, can't extract. Ball up now. Ball up now, and we might just have run out of time for this one to give Saints fans further hope. From the boundary, from the ball up, St Kilda clearance, Crouch hand passes to Ross, he's tackled, turned over, Mitch Robinson steals it on his left boot. Another count of 8 for the Saints. I think it's going to be a TKO. Yeah. 16 points the lead as Robinson misses with his left boot to the left. 9-18, 72 to 8-56.
Well, decision only by points. That's about it as it comes down the corridor. Straight towards the centre circles. Membry versus Marcus Adams. That's a fair contest, that body-wise, isn't it? It comes off the pair of them. McInerney tackles his opponent into the ground. Completely obscures the man. I see who's getting up from that. Boy, oh boy, Jade Gresham and Butler. So the ball up now. McInerney slaps it straight back down. The umpire has a pack of 8 players to deal with to separate the Sharons, so does so. Another ball up. Throw a hanky over 20 players as Jared Lyons receives it, tumbles it inside 50. It bounces awkwardly for all. That helps Charlie Cameron. He evades traffic. Link McCarthy enters, picks it up and goes bang. There's the killer blow as the Brisbane Lions get another eat. And Link McCarthy gets his second. 10-18, 78. St Kilda 8-56, 22 points the margin, 27.5 gone. Grandstand AFL, Michael Price and Quentin Hull with your experts, Jeff White and Matty Primus.
Inside 50s, 14-6 this quarter for Brisbane. And that's now 8 scoring shots in a row. 2 goals, 6, so death by 1,000 cuts, but they've got there.
Yeah, the Saints just, so unfortunate from the Saints' perspective of not having any rotations, nothing off the bench. But one of the things that's been really impressive tonight, which lacked a little bit last week, I reckon, was that forward pressure from the Brisbane Lions.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Link McCartney, Charlie Cameron, and Rayner, they've just really accommodated the big fellas down there really, really well. When they've brought it to ground, they've really kept it inside their forward 50.
Centre bounce. Another clearance for Brisbane. Jared Lyons kicks it to the right half forward flank. Cameron scurrying out to meet it for the Lions. Hands it backwards to Berry, who's 70 metres out. Berry's kick is into his teammate. Ricochets to the deck, and then he's going to be picked up by the Saints. Hand pass there from Crouch, looking for Webster. Couldn't pick it up, but he got hampered in the contest and will get a free kick. Plays on immediately with a hand pass to Ross. On the wing, Seb Ross kicks the Saints to half. Forward, long flew, couldn't mark. Coleman roves out the back for Brisbane. Hand pass to Starcevic. Kicks back to the wing, but back to Ross, who marks for St Kilda. Ross plays on. Left boot back to attacking 50. Adams knuckles it away from the intended target, Membry, but roved by Krauts. Hands to King. King hands to Long. 40 out, snap on goal. It's off to the left and to behind. Brisbane by 21 points, 10-18, 78 to the Saints 8-9, 57, 29 minutes, final turn.
What you were saying there, Whitey, before as well about the forward pressure of Brisbane, 13 tackles inside 50 to the Saints 6.
Yeah.
So it's domination in that category. Now the Lions coming down the outer side. Oh, that's a good mark from Jared Lyons in front of Max King. He did have the drop, but it's still a good mark nevertheless at right half back. He steadies things.
I reckon it certainly would have been a decision from Fages. Hey, we've got the 3 big fellas up there. Bring it to the ground. You guys got to keep it there.
Coleman now traverses the ground to the left half back position. Harris Andrews had a mighty battle with Max King tonight. He wants to play on, but then decides to go back to the top of the goal square and just holding proceedings up now, the Lions. Jared Lyons over to the other back pocket. Marcus Adams. And then Mitch Robinson onto the boundary. They go to the wing, and Rayner's run right to the front of the St Kilda bench. Takes a mark against the boundary line with around about 25 seconds left on the clock here at the Gabba. The Lions have done their job, Quentin Hull.
6-day turnaround from the West. They will enjoy every extra moment of the mid-season bye that is going to be afforded them after this torrid affair at home before they head to the G to play the reigning premier the round after. Still a few moments left. Neal with a kick inside 50, half volleyed by Hipwood. No mark, but of no matter for the locals who have survived a torrid test from the brave undermanned Saints. But the Lions remain unbeaten at home in 2022, triumphant by 21 points. Well, I doubt the Saints have lost many friends in their fight to stay among the conversation for the contenders in 2022, but they will go back home to Melbourne off the back of A long lead into this game without the 4 premiership points, and the Lions going to the bye, as mentioned. A meritorious return to the winner's circle after being beaten by Fremantle last week. The Lions by 21 points in the end. 10 goals, 18, 78 to St Kilda's 8-9, 57. It was the Lions by 3 points at quarter time. Saints kicked 3 goals to 1 in the second term, led by 2 goals at half time. And then Brisbane were able to kick 4 goals to 2 in the third quarter, led by 3 points at three-quarter time, and 11 scoring shots to 3 in the final term, but it was just 3-8 for Brisbane. So the Saints 1-2, and the Lions triumphant ultimately by 21 points. Good return for Joe Danaher. He was in most things, kicking 3 goals too as well. 2 goals for Lincoln McCarthy, single goals to Mitch Robinson, Hugh McCluggage, Charlie Cameron, Zach Bailey and Brandon Starcevic. St Kilda's 8 coming through 2 to Max King. He finished with 2-3, I think it was. Yep. 2 goals for Jade Gresham. And singles to Brad Crouch, Dan Butler and Jack Higgins, along with Daniel McKenzie, who was one of a number of injury concerns. He didn't finish the game. Mitch Owens didn't finish the game. No disrespect to those two, but Zach Jones going off with a soft tissue injury probably is the headline of those that couldn't finish out in that attritional 4 quarters of footy, which saw the Saints finishing men down on the bench. And you think of the power and the importance of Zach Jones. Well, Brisbane lost their captain of similar stature and importance, Dane Zorko, with a hamstring injury. Darcy Gardner couldn't complete the game either. Somewhat of a mystery ailment there. So, well, the Lions are going to need the bye to do some assessing in the injury room, gentlemen. No such luxury for St Kilda, who have got Essendon at Docklands next week. But let's hand it over to our Grandstand AFL experts. By the way, we'd love to hear from you in the wrap-up. Send your messages through on the SMS 0437 774 774. That's 0437 774 774. Matt Primus, Jeff White, you've got the pleasure of talking through one of the more entertaining games of football that we've seen at the Gabba of recent times.
Well, you said it, Q, didn't you? This is the best game we've seen all year at the Gabba, and it certainly was. And yeah, look, the first half, even going through the halfway through the third quarter, it was intense. There was tackles were stuck. There was a great line of ball going through. There was transitional running, had everything. But the poor Saints, they just come off a 13-day break off the bye, just to come up against such a quality side, but to have injuries at that time, it's just that's footy, isn't it? That's what you dealt with. And thought Zach Jones was playing really, really well. He was really helping that transitional run from the midfield. Him and Crouch were working extremely well. But yeah, credit to the Lions. It was a hard-fought game. It had everything, I reckon, tonight. And when it was there to be won, Brisbane Lions stood up. They, as Pricey mentioned about those tackles inside forward 50, it was outstanding, and that's something that they know they've got. They know they've got those towers up forward to bring the ball to ground. But when it goes to ground, I mean, that's what they're there for. That's what Lincoln McCartney's there for. That's what Charlie Cameron's there for. We know that they're good in the air, but they need to be exceptional on the ground as well. They need to be able to keep it inside their forward 50, and they did that tonight.
Yeah, they got asked some tough questions from the Saints, didn't they? Especially in that first half, or maybe up to three-quarter time, they got asked some really difficult questions the way the Saints play. But I thought they were able to get their game plan on top of St Kilda's as it went through. They got smacked contested possession. I think they were minus 15 at quarter time, but they ended up minus 3 by the end of the game. So they were able to fight back in that area. Their centre bounce work was pretty good most of the night, which is a strong suit of theirs. And then 28 to 17 shots. That third quarter, when they come out after half time, as you mentioned, Whitey, they dominated around the ball, got the ball inside 50. If they didn't mark it, their smalls went to work, their wingers locked it in, their backs came off their men. That was the Brisbane footy that I've seen them at their best. And, while they've still got a few little areas, a few guys down on form, Robbo on the wings battling away, they've got to either try and get him back into some form or find another winger that can give him a bit to complement what Berry does on the side there. Hipwood's still going to spend another 12 months finding his best form, but overall, I think their backs held up pretty well under a difficult style of play to play against. And a couple of their key midfielders, along with Berry out in the wing, were super. So I think they'd go into the break happy, understanding they played Fremantle, a really good team, and lots of teams are going to lose over in Perth, and the Saints have knocked off some big scalps this year. So, the areas to improve on, as every team does in the competition at the moment. Melbourne have definitely got their stuff to work on, and Fremantle have lost a game to the Suns and lost to Collingwood. So every good team's had some poor losses, but I reckon they'd be pretty comfortable going into the break and reset and reload again.
It was good to see big Joey Danaher up there too. Just gives them structure. Lines them up. A great return with 3 goals tonight, and and you're right. Hipwood's going to find his feet. I mean, he's been out of the game for 12 months. But I was really impressed with it. Just those small forwards, the ability to keep it in, and it takes a high intensity, but it's also balanced too. It's not, you've got to be smart about it. When to go, when to push back, when to turn your head, when to go, attack mode, all that sort of stuff. Thought McCluggage was really good tonight, and we spoke about that. Just the ability to break the lines too.
Yeah, that's what stood out from him and Neil and Lyons. He breaks the lines out. I thought Coleman was terrific too. His ability to shut down his man, but then come off his man. I don't know how many marks he took, but he was in front of the big boys, Memory and King, so many times putting his body on the line. I thought he did some really classy acts, intercepting a ball or interrupting them.
9 marks.
9 marks,
for Kitty Coleman.
And he goes at 95% kicking.
I was going to say,
so he's a very efficient kick.
Now let's get down to Jess Stewart, who's in position. You can call the Lions in, Jess, as they prepare to sing the song yet again here. This house impenetrable so far in 2022.
Great atmosphere here in the rooms. Of course, Dan McStay led the boys in his 150th match. They're very excited about this victory, obviously. Challenged at home by St Kilda. They're about to get away with the song now.
So that's now outside of finals, which is, well, probably the moot point. But in home and away football, that's 32 out of the last 33 that Brisbane have won at home. The only game that they've lost in the regular season at home in that time was the round 1 loss to Sydney at the start of last season. Well, it's a number. It's probably not at the heart of the point, the fact that they've lost 4 out of 5 finals during that period. But it shows just how hard, I suppose, it is for away teams to come here and win. And the Saints got pretty close at times tonight before, well, the home team and a few injuries got the better of them.
Yeah, no doubt the injuries made Brisbane be able to, control the game. But what you spoke about, Brisbane, and I hate harping back at times, but on my time at Port, we won a lot of games, home and away, and bombed out in finals. And sometimes it takes a few years to understand why you bomb out in finals. And sometimes it's only little things. It's guys buying into the team more. You think you are, but you're not. And maybe that's been an issue for them. We've spoken about that. A couple of players who always wanted to play like it is a home and away game, but finals is bigger and you've got to put your body on the line a little bit more. Sometimes it takes a few years for you as a collective to go, I understand what it means. But it's also bloody hard to keep winning enough games to give yourself a top 4 and a top 2 chance. And all credit goes to Brisbane to keep doing that year after year. And they will keep giving themselves another opportunity to understand, yes, finals, how hard it is to get here. Let's make sure this one counts. And that might be this year. But it is a credit to them to be able to keep putting themselves up there. And eventually, I reckon it'll click for them in a finals campaign.
Yeah, certainly. And your finals footy is all about below the knees being clean, but also the ability to hit the foot skills. And I've said this numerous times this year. I think Brisbane has really improved on their foot skills, and below the knees, they've got arguably the best one in the game at Lachie Neale, being front and centre and getting that. But now he's bringing the other guys along. So it's really outstanding effort.
Let's go into the Lions rooms because Jess Stewart has Joe Danaher with her.
Very happy to be joined by Joey down here in the rooms. Joey, 3 goals back on the return, obviously 6 weeks out with that shoulder injury. How did it feel to be back out there tonight?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable to be back playing footy. It was a bit of a funny game. It was a scratchy game. I imagine it was a bit of an ugly game to watch, but important to come away with 4 points. They're a quality team.
Just on that, you guys head into the bye now, obviously. There was injuries galore both sides there, obviously. The Saints very depleted in that last quarter. You guys lose Zorks, even Dizzy goes down, but real battle of attrition there, and for you to come away with the 4 points heading into the bye and then the D's on the other side of that, you must be very relieved.
Yeah, absolutely we are. Yeah, it was a physical game, no doubt. I think both sides were probably a couple down by the end, and we played D's I think on a Thursday night, so short bye, and we'll review this one and get back into it.
Just you sitting on the sidelines, like after last year and playing, as you're getting your body right and you're playing so many games, then you have a fantastic start to the year, and then you do the shoulder, and 6 weeks. I know you said to Fags, get me back out there, and you finally come back this week. How is the body feeling, and how hard was it to watch the last 6 weeks on the sidelines?
Yeah, look, it's not enjoyable being on the sidelines, but you've really got to use it as an opportunity, and that's what I tried to do. Tried to refine a bit of my craft, freshen up, and then obviously get some good work in. Felt really nice to be back playing footy tonight.
I'll throw you to the boys upstairs.
Joe, Quentin Hull here along with Jeff White, Matt Primus and Michael Price. I just wanted to ask you about the rhythm of now that you're a year and a half in to your new footy club and you're learning how to play with your teammates, and you seem to have something going well until Eric got hurt late last year, and then you get hurt and Eric comes back. So just where would you assess the synergy of you with the other two tools and Charlie Cameron and Link McCarthy underneath you, just the way that forward group's developing?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the word. We are developing. Obviously, we've got some really good talent up there, but unfortunately, talent doesn't get you too far in league footy. So we've got to continue to work on our synergy. At the footy club, the forwards have played a similar way for a long time now. So obviously, I'm pretty new. Darcy Fort's pretty new. It's important we come in and play a role. And I think we're getting some reasonable results. We're inconsistent at this point in time, but as we've seen in many years by, it's the teams that can improve the most past the bye that have the best chance of challenging later in the year.
And just on that, so what's the one area that you'd like to work on as a front six or as a collective in that forward zone? Yeah, I mean, our ability to keep it in there, I think. That's the way the game's played now. We don't want to be relying on scores from deep in our back line. We want to get it in our forward line, keep it in there and play the game there. So we'll keep work on it. We're probably, at a pass mark, maybe a par at this time in the year, and good time to reflect and move forward.
Joe, Jeff White here. Well played tonight, mate. Yeah, just on that, it was 14 tackles to 6 inside your forward 50 compared to the Saints. Was that something you spoke about? I know that was there was a lot of slingshot footy last week when you played against Freo. Was that something you brought? I mean, Lincoln McCartney and Charlie Cameron tonight were outstanding in that area.
They are, and they play a huge role in that for us. And there's obviously a lot of facets that impact that. How quickly the ball comes in, how quickly the opposition are getting back and being able to get it out. So I think tonight in the second half we probably had a better balance. First half was a little bit disappointing, but yeah, it's something we're always working on. And they've got a reasonably good intercepting backline. So that was a challenge for us all night.
Joe, Matt Primus here. I was interested in what the leading to the game was, because Saints play a pretty unique brand of footy compared to most teams from what I see sort of up in the commentary box. And how did you think you handled that tonight with their high handball and run? Because in the end, you guys got your game plan. You had 60 inside 50s. Your stoppage work was really good again. But what was the lead in, the focus of the lead into this game?
Yeah, we know that they're in good touch. They've played against some good sides and they've performed really well. They're use the ball really well. They've got some, elite distributors, Hill and Sinclair, and these sorts of guys are in terrific form. So, we knew we were up against it, but we just had to bring a contested brand of footy, and I think that held up for us in the end. Wasn't perfect, wasn't brilliant, but we came home with 4 points. So, bit to reflect on.
A couple before we let you go. Can you see the skipper? What we saw Zorks with the big ice on his hammy. Can you see him?
I'm looking around. I can't see him. No, but I did think he had some ice on there, so I didn't see the incident. But hopefully, an extra couple of days break we got this week helps, and I'm sure they'll scan him up and see how we go.
Was that Mark tonight in your top 20, top 10?
I can't really remember it actually, but. Yeah, I mean...
You kicked the goal, that's the main thing.
Yeah. I was a bit rusty in front of the sticks tonight, but, again, it's something I've just got to keep working on, keep knuckling down, a good chance to train with an extra couple of days off, and looking forward to being out there a little bit more consistently.
And are you a bit homesick this weekend? You missed the family reunion at the MCG last night.
Unfortunately, I didn't get invited to that one, but it's an important one this coming Monday. No, it's a very special occasion for our family, and to see the football community continue to support the fight against MND is something that we're incredibly proud of, and we hope continues for a long time.
How do you communicate with Uncle Neil these days, Joe?
Yeah, Neil's pretty good. He's got access to text and emails and phones and all this jazz. So, he's going really well. But he's got a power of work over this coming couple of weeks, and I'm sure he'll be due to have a bit of a break after this Monday.
Yeah, well, thanks for your insight, not only here with your performance in the footy team, but it was amazing to see the four Danaher lads, your dad and your three brothers there for the Essendon celebrations last night, and we know how big a day Monday is for your family. But here with the Lions crest on your chest, you're doing the job there, and you're back playing and you're back fit. Thanks for your time, Joe.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is. Could keep chatting to him, but better let him go and warm down. But
he spoke well.
Oh, he's
really
fantastic.
Well.
Yeah,
really good.
He's one of those players you just love to watch play because something's going to happen. But he's also got a smile on his dial. He gives enjoyment to the crowd.
Well, I think Matty and I can speak firsthand on this. It's so hard to come back when you've had a layoff. I mean, how long was he off? 5 or 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
To go out and perform the way he did. I mean, he's kicked 3 goals. A couple might have been, free kicks. But the high intensity of this game, the work up the ground, come back. I mean,
there's no one game back in the two to settle.
No, not at all. And I think if it's anything as a positive, the most positive injury to have is probably a shoulder, because you can still run, you still keep your fitness,
And he was doing that in all kinds of conditions. We saw evidence of that on social media in rain and horrible conditions. He was doing that running.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the Lions forward line, and you can't make a player something that they're not, and it doesn't look like he's the bailout kick, is he, Matt? No. And Charlie Cameron's not the incessant pressuring small forward.
Although he did lay 6 tackles tonight.
Yeah.
There's something happened there, Q.
I say that respectfully.
100%.
Yeah, compare, and we'll do like for like. The last great Brisbane team is nothing like the way that Craig McRae played.
Yeah, but
Fly would love to have the talent.
Fly would have loved to have had the talent of Charlie Cameron.
Exactly.
Charlie Cameron would love to have the stick-to-the-task mentality that Craig McRae had.
Yeah, and so that's the question about, yet again, well, Danaher comes back, and he took a hanger to kick a goal. He roved one out the back. It's not, we wonder, I suppose, to this point in time last year when Danaher was in the team, it didn't hold up in the finals. And
that's where I think.
But he was stuck by himself.
Those sorts of things. Though. Yeah, like Cameron buying into, if you have 6 tackles and kick a goal, we're happier.
Yeah.
If you kick 4 and do no tackles.
Yes.
And, Joey, you've got to stand under some balls. You can't always be McStay. And Hipwood, you're going to have to do that. And I think those little things is what's going to help them win finals. If they want to buy into that and understand that's as important as taking a hanger and kicking 4 goals.
That's a non-negotiable, though.
Yeah.
For them to progress
it has to be,
further.
yeah.
We'll get to your thoughts on the Saints in a moment as well. And we've got the votes to come. If you have just tuned in, terrific game at the Gabba. Brisbane won it by 21 points in the end. 10 goals, 18-78 to 8-9-57. Injury concerns for Zach Jones, Dan McKenzie, Mitch Owens for the Saints, for the Lions, Dane Zorko and Darcy Gardner. Here are the numbers. Surprise, surprise. Who led the disposal count for Brisbane?
Hang on.
Number 9. Lockie Neal, 37 disposals. McCluggage, 33. Lions, 29. Rich, 26. Berry, 25. For the Saints, Jack... brackets Billy Ray Sinclair.
That's a great mullet.
30 disposals, 29 for Seb Ross, 26 for Crouch, 21 for Gresham and 20 for Membry. Overall disposals, Brisbane won that by 43 at 638 to 320, 638. That was my dyslexic numbers coming in there. 368, 368 to 325, plus 43 for Brisbane disposals wise. Contested, nothing in that. Saints plus 3. Marks, big difference there. 31 more for Brisbane. 116 to 85.
Well, St Kilda were
literally in the top echelon of the AFL in marks per game, ahead of Brisbane. So that's a massive turnaround. That's
huge. Yep.
Brisbane +9 with the tackles in the end, 61-52, and they trailed in that stat most of the night.
Yep.
As much as we saw the Saints running out of manpower, Brisbane tackled its elbows to the grindstone in the last quarter. Inside 50s, Lions +19 in the end at 60-41. Free kicks went Brisbane's way, 28-20, 48 in all. And Marcus from South Melbourne on the SMS says the 2 games today were like finals matches, unlike Thursday and Friday. Fair call? Yeah, well, there was certainly an intensity about it last night. Tonight, that certainly wasn't a part of last night's Blues win over the Bombers.
Look, I mean, you're going to say about the Saints. I really like the way they played. We saw them a few times last year. Year before, when they made the finals, they were good. They've definitely increased that intensity. That slingshot footy is really, really impressive. Crouch, spoke about Crouch here. I thought Crouch had a great game tonight. He had 10 tackles.
10 tackles. He's the number 4 tackler in the AFL.
Yeah, just really good. Crunch, you know.
How do you get Max King help? I know that Tim Membry didn't kick a goal tonight. He's kicked 18 for the season. Is he still... because he was deployed down back as well, and I'm just wondering the way that maybe the Saints find an extra goal or two. They obviously went with the smalls tonight with Butler and Higgins coming in, but is that the way forward?
Well, it's probably, and they need a bit more out of Marshall too. You know, but until tonight, I reckon they probably had a pretty good forward line. The way they were operating was going pretty well for them. They just brought in a couple of smalls, maybe thinking it'd be a bit more of a ground ball kind of game for them tonight against Brisbane, which didn't quite work out that way. He didn't notice too much of Memory, and Marshall got more of his ball up the ground. So, but I think so far this year their forward line operated pretty well. I'd be concerned a little bit at the way they play. It's great to come and watch, but I don't know how that'll hold up in finals. Like that's an intense brand of footy to play against a really hardened, let's say, a stoppage kind of team. So I'm not sure how that'll go. I have to keep an eye on how it goes for the rest of the year, but it's a unique brand of footy compared to most other teams that are playing in the AFL. So it'll be something to keep an eye on, but they're sticking to it, and it's given them some really good wins this year.
Yeah, and
they'll play finals.
They'll play. And they
think.
Yep.
So 8-4. Brisbane are now 10-3, but Saints have played one less game.
Yep.
Essendon next week
win.
For the Saints at Docklands. Sydney at the SCG.
Tough.
Carlton at Docklands. So that's the next little period.
The two blue games here.
You're getting a little muckraking lay on this. So Brisbane's got the bye, and then D's at the MCG after that.
That's a good game.
Bulldogs Thursday night footy here at the Gabba.
Yep.
So that's sort of the next.
So do we get a serious look at Brisbane's credentials now? Okay, they've got this one at home against the Saints, and
we did last week.
I'm just really. The Lions did well, but the Saints had 2 on the bench in the last quarter, and barely 2 on the bench, and I think we were robbed of that.
Yeah, really close game.
Really tight finish.
Well,
as a result of that,
the narrative of Brisbane is now developing as the younger cousin of the narrative of Geelong.
Yes.
It's not about getting there now. It's about what they do in the last 4 weeks.
That's all it is, yep.
And
it's like
I'm not trying to be...
It's what you do when you get there.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either football club, because the consistency of Geelong has been unbelievable.
Yep.
Yet the pressure is on, to
perform.
They've got to the one grand final in the shortened season of COVID outside of the premiership in Chris Scott's first year as coach. And, of course, the Lions have won, one final in 3 years.
Yep.
So I can see 2 very similar narratives.
Storylines coming up.
For, I think we can now put Brisbane in the Geelong
no doubt
narrative.
About that. No doubt about it, yep.
Yeah.
And, they are...
And that pressure brings its own... psyche to your club, when it comes towards finals.
Votes, please. We've got about 100 seconds before we wrap it up.
100 seconds. There was quite a few good players. I think we mentioned a few during the night, but look, 3 to McCluggage, no doubt about that. 7 inside 50s, 570 metres gain, and that's what we spoke about. He won it inside, but then was able to get outside break the lines, and hence his 7 inside 50s and 7 clearances. So just a complete inside and outside game, as good as I've seen him play. Berry, for me, I gave 2. Only an okay first half, but a really good second half. When the Saints were coming in that third quarter, I thought his work rate on the wing was terrific. 25 touches, 6 marks, a lot of rebounds out of that. And one I gave to Sinclair, who I did mention. He had the most metres gained on the wing, worked hard both ways, 6 intercept marks, a couple of inside 50s. I thought his work rate on the wing was outstanding. And a few others, we mentioned Coleman, obviously Danaher with his goals. There's quite a few other players, but 3-2-1 to McCluggage, Berry and Sinclair.
Good on you, Matt. Thanks, Whitey.
No worries.
Got your helper tonight as well, Kyle.
Little apprentice.
Have fun. Good on you.
Well played, sir.
Jess Stewart's arrived in the back of the box as well. Very busy night. She's thawing out. Wasn't that cold?
Not here.
Not for us. Thanks, Pricey.
Thanks, Q.
Thanks to Pete on the faders here and Andrea back in the studio. So we've got North and Greater Western Sydney tomorrow and our regular programs around it before we do the Freeze at the G on the Monday, which is a holiday for some, not for us here anyway. Lions by 21 points. So they're 10-3. The Saints are 8-4. Hope you enjoyed Saturday night as much as we did.
Has a go with his left foot. It's King versus Andrews. There's been a free kick called on a tight angle. Max King. Oh, look at that for a kick. What a great way to open for the Saints.
The ump throws it up in the air quickly again. Chance for Crouch. His clearing kick went straight to Danaher. Slapped it on his boot and Joe kicks a goal.
Membry, I thought, was going to take the mark. Couldn't quite clunk it. Adams, he picks it up. He's tackled. Could be holding the ball. It is. It's a Brad Crouch from 30. Well, it's a little left, but it's another goal for the Saints. They hit the front.
Kicks it to the pocket for the Saints and a big fly. Is that a mark? Is it going to be paid? I think so to McKenzie. Now McKenzie from the mark kicks the goal. Saints are by 11 points. Kick towards the pocket. Oh, beautiful fly and mark to Danaher. Classic knees on the back of the backman. They've got the Danaher hang. Have they got the goal to put the Lions in front? Yes, they have. Picked up though by Butler of the Saints. Has 2 bounces to half forward. 51 metres out, got the speed wobble. Kick to the goal square, Higgins is there. And dribbles it through to return the Saints to the lead.
Lets it go for Neal. He weaves away from one. Kicks it inside 50. Bailey can't take it on the first attempt. Gathers on the second. Wheels around and bangs in the goal. Zach Bailey. Hot football here at the Gabba on a very chilly night.
A calm moment to slot the pass to the leading Gresham on 50. Gresham plays on, slaps it with his right foot straight through the middle. 4 points to dip. Brisbane still in front. Hand pass infield gathered by McCluggage. Runs to 50. McCluggage goes deep and the right foot drop punch puts Brisbane 11 points in front.
Puts it into the pocket, looking for King. It's a massive pack of players. St Kilda player could have been taken high ground level. Butler picks it up, hooks it around. Goal Saints! And puts them within 5 points again.
Lock Neal. 50 metres out. His kick's going right to the goal line. And Danaher roves out the back and kicks a goal.
It's a Joe the Goose.
Everyone fell over, except him.
It's a 12-point margin for the locals.
Tumbles it inside 50. It bounces awkwardly for all. That helps Charlie Cameron. He evades traffic. Link McCarthy enters, picks it up and goes bang. There's the killer blow.
Neal with a kick inside 50. Half volleyed by Hepwood. No mark, but of no matter for the locals who have survived a torrid test from the brave undermanned Saints. But the Lions remain unbeaten at home in 2022. Triumphant by 21 points.